Wildcats, we back, baby. We back. Let me share this shit. Give me 1 second.
We got family in the house.
Hey, so let me get this straight, Craig. Somebody else is going on the some Wildcats page because you want to do watch party on your page.
I'm about to share right now. The watch party. Somebody got to monitor some Wildcats page. I'm about to be on my page right now.
I know, but we're doing that because you go and watch party on your page.
Yes, and okay. I don't monitor. Somebody else has to monitor. It was Keith's job, but Keith kept fucking it up. So we're gonna go ahead.
It was me. It was me the first week with your black ass when you still had a shape up, motherfucker.
It was Keith's job when he had hair.
Wow. Man, you see this shit, man? Some stuff don't change. It still sound like 88, don't it?
Yeah.
It don't change.
Hey, you know what I always think? I'm like, damn, I wonder what our squad would have been if we all stayed. But Corn ran half, like he ran my ass away. He ran Dot. Yeah, but nah, he ain't keep Dot. Actually had to stay and suffer. But
All right. So y'all ready?
Yeah, we ready.
All right. So you want to start that clock right now, Anthony. All right, so we are back at it. It's that podcast that's so damn good. Only some Wildcats can do it. And I am Craig Black coming to you from the Zoom verse with my family in the building. You know, I got my man Al here, a.k.a. Big Al, a.k.a. the brother minister, a.k.a. ladies and gentlemen, he is not a racist. He's not a racist. Also in the building, I got my man Glenn, a.k.a. Big G, a.k.a. my man Glenn. He spells his name with at least 3 or 4 or 5 N's, you know, we don't know. Also in the building, I got my dude, Ant, a.k.a. the old man, a.k.a. the Asian asshole. What's up, Ant?
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Okay. That's that all-timers, man. All-timers like kicks
Hold on, Black. Why we don't get to say what's up, man?
Hey, Al. Keep it jump like I thought he was on time already. He was rolling through that jump. He's speeding the clock up.
Also in the building, I got my man Old Blue, a.k.a. my man Dave, a.k.a. the voice of reason. What's up, Dave?
Hey, man, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Hey, Dave, you know what, man? We just happy you back, man. You know, it's special. You here with us, man. We appreciate you, Dave. Yeah, okay. Anyway, also in the building, we got that dude, Keith, a.k.a. Cat Daddy Keith, a.k.a. Keith the Freak. What's up, Keith?
Shut up, Black.
Okay.
That's how we going. That's how we going this week.
Damn.
Ooh,
He taking it personal, man. I tell you. Because he balled. Okay, and last but not least in the building, we got my man Dirk, a.k.a. the wallet, a.k.a. the money, a.k.a. the sponsor. He pays all the bills and we ain't got none. What's up, Dirk?
What's up, Black?
I let you go last again, man. You was last again, man. You back in your place.
Hey,
right.
Hey, did y'all notice he didn't yell?
No, it's too early for that.
I changed computers because y'all kept saying I was yelling, so I changed computers.
Boy, you in HD right now, boy. You in the PA system.
Yeah, I changed.
All right, man. This podcast, let me break it down for the people. It's about us and our friendship over the last 35, 40, 45, 50 plus years. And it's about the topics we want to cover because we don't give a goddamn about what you think. It's all about what we think, all right? Now, coming to you live from the Zoom verse, as you see, we have another special guest this week, my man Anthony White, okay? He is a 25-year broadcast television vet who has won 13 Emmys, all right? He is a graduate of Clark Atlanta University, that's CAU, and is the president of CAU's Mass Media Art Alumni Society. All right, for 17 years, he's been an essential member of the Emmy Award-winning Inside the NBA on TNT. You may know that show. That's Ernie, Charles, Shaq, and Kenny. Yeah, that show right there. All right, his credits also include the NFL on Fox and CBS, the NFL Network, and ESPN College Football Prime Time. That's just to name a few, all right? But my man's true love is cooking. Starting at a young age of 10 years old, he was inspired by his mom and a love for seafood. So he created Wendell's Seafood, an online restaurant where he specializes in hot Maryland crab soup, all right? It's cooked to perfection. Go to www.wendellsseafood.com. Why don't y'all give it up one time for my man Anthony White in the building, y'all?
What up?
remember, I'm still a Wildcat.
Yeah, well, you wow. I don't know. You know what? Do you get the Catz? I know you get the wow because you did kind of move out. So you wow.
Oh, remember, I'm crazy.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Yeah, because on your bio,
Come on,
you
man.
say
Hey, come
no
on,
question in
hold on,
Forestville,
Cal,
so that's a
we all went
wild.
back to middle school.
No, I get you. But then you rolled out on us. It's almost like that girl you was dating just before you about to get married. She rolled out. She don't get the last name, do she?
I did y'all a disservice, man. We played in the state championship together, man. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. I had to go, man.
All right, so he's wild, but he don't got the cap, but he's good. He's family up in here. All right. So, man, you know what? Let's talk about Wendell Seafood. Man, help me out. I need to understand, who is Wendell, man? Help me out. Who was that? Who was that, man?
You know, the funny question, the funny answer to that is, when I first launched the business 4 years ago, everybody, you know, they were like, yeah, this is cool. But then one day somebody said, well, Aunt, who the hell is Wendell?
Yeah,
Wendell is my middle name.
Oh, you threw me I'm like,
right.
Okay.
Anthony Wendell White. But then this is the crazy shit. I hated my middle name. I hated it all these years. I hated it. Like when I was a kid growing up, I hated it. I was like, oh, my mom. Because most of us have jacked up ass middle names from our parents, right? So I was like, oh, why my mom give me this name? I hate it. But, you know, it came full circle, man. So Wendell Seafood.
All right.
Now it's a food truck and all types of good stuff located right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Come get the crab melt. See, I started off with blue crab soup, you know, something I took from home in DC and Maryland and brought it down here. And it was weird. I mean, do y'all want me to tell you how I started the whole thing?
Go right ahead.
Go for it.
Pretty much, I had always wanted to be a chef growing up. Even when we were in high school, always taking some cooking classes and things like that. But then what ended up happening one year, I was doing Detroit, and this is when the Pistons was good. And we were going back between Detroit and Cleveland. And you know, every time I'm on the road, people always know I always go find a seafood restaurant because that's just how I eat. And I found this spot up in Pontiac, Michigan. So they used to keep us, the old Detroit Palace where the Pistons used to play us, way out in Pontiac. I mean, it's nothing out there. I mean, they're not even they're in the city now, but back then they weren't in the city. So I found this little seafood spot up there, and they had Maryland crab soup on the menu. And I said, okay. I said, man, let me go ahead and taste it. And I was eating that shit. It had peas and shit all in it. I'm like, oh, man, come on, man. It tastes like, yeah, right. It tastes like some tomato Campbell's soup, and they just threw some vegetables in it, right? Came home, I said, I can make this. And I'm one of those type of cooks. I'll get in the kitchen and create stuff. That's how pretty much I've created all of my dishes and stuff for the truck. And so I kind of hooked it up, took my mom's recipe, added some things to it. I can't tell y'all the recipe because I don't want nobody to steal my shit, right? So added some things to it, right? Used to put it in the freezer, let it sit, you know, kind of left it at that. So true story, I would bring it in for the crew and let them taste it. And just so happened, and this is why I always give these two guys credit, Chris Webber and Gary Payton happened to be in the studio that night. And so they ended up tasting it. So they came running down the hall, hey, give me some more of that, give me some more of that. But I'm looking at them like, well, it ain't nothing but some soup that I made. And they was just weighing on it, right? So I thought to myself, I said, damn, you know, I said, maybe I got something here. So from that point on, I just, you know, I started thinking about, well, damn, you know, how do I package this? How do I put this together? You know, well, I'm using other people's ingredients, so how can I put my name on it? But then it clicked, like, well, shit, all these restaurants, they cooking with everybody else's, you know, ingredients and products. So, you know, I put it together, I put the package together, and I always use my TNT crew as my guinea pigs. I brought it into them and let them taste test. And then over time, you know, I just started figuring it out. And, you know, caught up on some bullshit. My fucking director suspended me from TNT. That's what people don't know, you know, some dumb shit, right? Nothing I did, but I just looked at it from a standpoint. When I stopped feeling like I was the victim, when I looked at it and said, well, you know what? God has something else in store for me. Like, I got all these projects over here that I'm taking care of. you know, because I'm making money for other motherfuckers. So that's all, and I can say that, can I?
Yeah, hell yeah.
You can say what the fuck you want to say.
It's too late anyway.
I'm come to this shit, right? So my biggest issue is making money for other motherfuckers, okay? That's on my whiteboard, right? So when this motherfucker suspended me, when I came back, you know, and God granted me back, you know, but then I said, well, you know what, and you gotta look at it like this. Television is great, but you know, it's so helter-skelter because, you know, the position that I'm in, you know, you'll get with a crew that keeps you busy, then all of a sudden, if this director or this crew don't like you, you know, you out the door, you know, because they bringing in their folks and whoever they want in that position. And, you know, you can't keep living like that. I've been doing this 25 years, man. And, you know, some of the ups and downs of this business, and, you know, even like today with everything going on with the COVID, and I'll get into that, how I am blessed to have a truck because a lot of these guys right now don't have nothing to fall back on. And I keep telling everybody, sports is not coming back. It's not coming back, but I'll get into that. But so anyway, I just kind of launched it, and from that point on, I came home from the playoffs one year. I was like, you know what? I was gonna fuck with Uber, but then I was like, you know what? Let me put this soup online. And when I put it online, it just took off. And that's how I started building the brand. And then from there, I created the South. You know, and then here it is. Everything's fine. And 4 years later, up until just past October, we in that same bullshit space again, me and him, okay? There's nothing I'm doing. It's just he's a fucking asshole, right?
Oh, wow.
So basically...
Hold up. I ask a question. So it's the same producer, same director, the same guy?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. But I always tell people, use enemies as your energy. Okay? Use enemies as your energy and take the good from it and move forward.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You always got to keep that in mind because you can't let another person shape your mental capacity, shape your daily life. Because when people be talking about how stressed they are because their bosses, they hate them and all that type of shit, you know, you can't live your life like that.
And you're giving them too much space. You're giving them too much space to do all that.
It's too much energy, bro. And I tell everybody.
What's that quote?
Now,
Hey, give us that quote again. Give us that quote again.
What use what people your enemies as your energy?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Okay. Yeah. Use your energy. I mean, your enemies as your energy. Because think
Craig,
about this.
Craig, you my energy. You my energy, Craig.
He pointed at him and said,
"Look, I'm pointing over here. He in the corner. Yeah, Craig, you my energy."
And I would have thought it would have been Alzheimer's, you know, not me. hey, but we're hanging out. It's some Wildcats podcast. We're hanging out with my man Anthony White, and we just got into broadcasting and how the game is and how you can get caught up sometimes dealing with people and management. You know, let me tell you something. You know, radio was my thing. You know, I do radio part-time now. I'm not entrenched in it like I was at one time. And so, and I had a wake-up call too. I had a serious wake-up call. You know, they pulled it up from under me when the whole syndication came through and they was like, we don't need you no more, you know. And, you know, once you get your life and your sweat and your tears and they just kick you to the side, it makes you really, you know, you had something to fall back on. You know, I really didn't at that time, but I think that's a lot that you're putting out here to the young people. You got to let them know that this broadcasting, this entertainment thing, you always got to have 1 to 2 things back there to fall back on to be ready to keep going. It's like you can't, especially if you don't own it and you don't run it, you got to make sure you have something else there to take care of you. Straight up.
And then people got to understand, like, you know, like these networks, they billions and billions of dollars, and we scrapping just to get what we can get. You know, yeah, I'm the Mass Comm alumni president at Clark Atlanta University, top HBCU, all that good stuff. But anyway, like, and I have to explain to my students, like, especially the ones, like one of my main students, she's actually my assistant now. You know, she hustles, she grinds. But a lot of my students have just graduated or getting ready to graduate, and they came out into the market. You competing with me now. And think about it. There are no jobs right now. Like pretty much the type of money that we make and how we travel and all that stuff, like think about it. For football season alone, I traveled 18 weeks out of the year just for football. Now, we're not talking basketball. We're not talking, other shit, dog shows and racing and all other types of shit that I do. So think about this. It's like if I travel 18 weeks out the year for football and the type of money we make, I'll be lucky to see $20,000 to $30,000 next year, if that, because you talk about trying to put these guys out here, these athletes, and now you see with the NBA, a lot of these guys are starting to speak up, saying that they don't want to play, especially because the climate that's going on, in the league. I mean, we're in the world right now with the killings, and how could you really be talking about basketball and football? And now you're talking about coming back, no fans in the stadium. So think about it. If it's like an average game, like we're just talking local, like, so think about the Redskins playing the Carolina Panthers. So an average football game is maybe 10 camera guys, right? So now if you have no fans, we don't need all these angles. So then that camera comes down to about 6.
Anthony, let me interrupt you real quick. I want you to break down exactly what you do in broadcast television. Tell the people what you do, Anthony.
Well, I shoot live television. Not when people say camera, they think me as a still photographer. I hate still photographers. They get the hell out, get in my damn nerves. I am a live sports camera guy. Like when you see, when you sitting at home screaming with your beer and shit and having a good ass fucking time and screaming at the TV and it's -8 degrees in Lambeau.
Yeah, right.
See, that's the shit that y'all don't see and understand. Right. When y'all keep me hollering, oh, you got the greatest job in the world. When I did the Miracle in Minnesota, you know how cold it was that day? -23. God.
And we with you, man. We with you when you post it. We with you online.
Right.
Hey, but it's about 72 where we at.
Right. You screaming. I'm out there like this. Like it is in my head. I'm like, boy, this some bullshit right here. What the fuck? I be thinking about changing my career.
So Anthony, let me ask you a question. So what opened up your door to become a live cameraman for the sports world?
You know what? Hard work. I mean, it was weird because I wanted to be a reporter. I mean, a lot of y'all don't know. I started when, I didn't go right off to Clark. I mean, I started Clark like years later, but I had started PG a couple of years after we graduated.
Hey, Slim, we was in the same class at PG. You remember that? Remember that?
Right. So
that TV broadcasting 101. You remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
None of them knew that.
Yeah, they didn't. So from there, it was like I had pretty much kind of I started my internship at CTV over in Largo, and from that point on, I always knew I wanted to be a reporter. When I first got in there, I started out if people don't know, I started out as a security guard in a TV station. That's how I worked my way in. Like I didn't even start out, running scripts or anything like that. I started out as a security guard, and then the news director pulled me on for one day a week to become like an internship. And I got in there, got cursed out, was getting ready to quit, because it felt like, how people so anal in this business. Because the thing I have to explain to people about my business, and Craig know this shit.
Assholes, but go right ahead.
Yeah,
it's like working with 1,000 Anthonys, but go right ahead.
Producers and
he's so hard on Anthony. Anthony's our guest, man.
Cowan.
He's so hard on the block.
Anthony Cowan. Go right ahead, Anthony.
But see, like producers and directors, they do shit like abuse their power. You know what I'm saying? They do that. I mean, because I have some directors, like I had one director. I don't know. Remember if y'all remember the show Jeff Foxworthy? The comedian Jeff Foxworthy came out with a show one time, and I mentioned that bitch name. His name is fucking Paul Miller. He's a bitch. So he used to direct all of the Oscars and all of that shit. So I came in about a week later because I was off doing some football, and he had fired like the whole crew, but he used to direct in Living Color. So if you ever watch in Living Color, look at the end, and it has director Paul Miller. He's a fuckboy. So basically, he came. I'm telling you, a lot of these.
So he not gonna give you no recommendation, huh, Amy?
You know? So
That bridge is smoke.
right. Because I'm telling you, man,
I love that shit. You don't know how much I love this shit. Keep going, man.
Right,
Fuck
a lot
that.
of these cats, man, they just some fucking dicks, and that's what they are, and they abuse their power.
Craig had some of those.
Woo!
Right, but then so
I want to throw a name out there so bad right now. I'm trying to stop myself, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I can do it for you. How about that nigga Jay Stevens?
That's who you talking about.
We can go there. Fuck that white dude.
That's just who he's talking about too.
So so anyway, it's like the couple of weeks, I probably did that show for about 2 weeks. And then sometimes, man, we always talk about this business, all money is not good money. I was probably making $1,000 a day off that show, right? So, but dude, you get directors sometimes that they'll pick their punching dummy. So they'll come in, like you get a lot of directors that will come into our market or whatever. If they don't know you, they'll pick you out and start trying to abuse you. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of, them being incompetent and fucked up, right? So, dude would kind of screaming at me, but I was, I'm handling my job. I'm like, well, damn, I'm giving you what you're asking for. So about the second or third day, that's when I realized that he was coming at me. That day I came in, I was like, okay, this is going to be the day. Because my thing is, for me, and probably the time I was like about 34, 35, because I used to be the young guy. He came in one day, and I wasn't saying too much anything. So we got into the show. So, and I'm making a long story short about some of the other shit that he said to me. But he went off on camera on me over the headset and cussed me out in front of everybody. And I lit his ass up. It was like, I was like, look, Paul, I went up, I said, motherfucker, Jeff Foxworthy was leaning on the bar in rehearsal. Now he not leaning on the bar. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? What the fuck? And so when I went off and went back at his ass, he got quiet. He was like, Lindsay, have Jeff. I said, yeah, move, bitch. Because I said, now I know it's personal. And he ain't had nothing to say. And see, some of these directors, when you tear back into their ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that much now because I am a vet. You know what I mean? And a lot of those directors, we call them screamers. You know what I mean? So, like, a lot of those guys would get and be screaming and hollering. And then it's like, so when your crew is uptight, everybody's uptight. So how can you perform like that? I have some directors like my boy Howie Singer. He directs the New York Knicks. Love him. Thank God he recovered from the COVID. Great director. He gets in. He let people do their job. I got directors. I got a young director now. That's my director at Fox. Loves me. He calls me for advice. And here it is. He's my director, even though he's younger than me. You know what I'm saying? But you respect those type of guys when they respect your business and your work. Because I always tell people, we can get into the whole thing about, racism and all that stuff. Because a lot of times when I first was breaking in, the dumbest shit to me was like, I would show up to play. Matter of fact, my first football game at home in DC with the Redskins so many years ago, I show up and I'm the only black guy, because most of the time I'm the only black guy on the crew. A lot of times. So, but that just shows that I'm good at what I do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's what we was talking about the Super Bowl. Like, I was handpicked by my director to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why the other black guy was there is because Mike Terry lived in Miami. I was the only black guy that traveled. Okay? Wow. So
break down the numbers on that real quick. How many cameramen were there, and how many black guys were there? Tell the people that, man.
We had 133
and which Super Bowl? Which Super Bowl? The last one?
The last Super Bowl.
Okay.
Kansas City and that was my shot at the end too, when they was trying to figure out if he got in the end zone or not. I know that.
You got shot.
A part of that replay when they zoomed in on his foot and they widened the screen and shit to see if his foot was on the line. That was yours truly. But anyway.
Yeah, there we go.
Facts.
Right. So, so it was 133 cameras. Some of it was robotic and stuff like that. So technically, you might have had 120 camera guys, right? Only 2 black guys. Me and Terry.
Man.
Damn.
Okay.
That's like 1.5%,
See,
1.3%.
that's that bullshit.
See, yeah, like I understand what you're saying, Anthony, because when I first started out in entertainment in that world, I started out at Fox 5 Sports as the intern. And like even when I was trying to get ahead of the game, they would not allow me to. And then when I told them what should I do, they told me I had to move to like Nebraska or something.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Well, you know what? Now, what was you trying to do though? How was you trying to enter the game? As a reporter?
Yeah, as a reporter at the time, as a sports reporter.
Well, and that's how I started. I mean, I basically, my love was to be a sports reporter. Oh, I thought I was going to be the next cat on ESPN, you know, doing my thing with all the quick little slide words and all that shit. And I came through at a time when a lot of the athletes the athletes were coming in, taking a lot of those positions. And you didn't see any bald head guys on TV. So, and then you didn't hear guys that talk like me. You know what I mean? So the issue was, you know, I was trying to clean up my speech, trying to have my appearance, you know, look a certain way. And I actually went to my first convention a week before 9/11. Got to the convention with my tape. People started seeing my taping because I'd been on Prep Sports at least about 4 years up to that point. You know, and my shit looked good. But see, to me, I didn't understand, you know, how that was going to work. So I'm thinking, feeling intimidated when I got to the conference to turn my tape in. But when I started looking at everybody else shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my shit was killing theirs because they were in these small towns and, you know, but my shit was legit. We were the -- sports show in the city. And I was the only black reporter at the time. I mean, before Brian and Delvina before they showed up. So I started getting all these hits when I got back, and oh man, it was great. And then all of a sudden, September 11 hit. And at that point in time, I was probably about 29, and I had to, you know, ask myself, because I've been grinding, trying to send off my tapes to like places in Iowa and Kentucky. Like at that point in time, I didn't care where I went. I just knew I wanted to be a sports reporter. And at that point in time, I looked at it and I said, well, damn, you know, I got to make a decision here. You know, is this telling me to move forward to something else, or do I stay in here and keep pushing? Because, you know, right now, September 11, nobody wanted a sports reporter. I mean, the damn world was falling apart like it is now. You know, so I made the decision. I stopped sending out tapes and all of that. And then I said, you know, I got into some real estate and I started making some money. And then I started growing more and more as a camera guy, because me, you know, starting out as a utility, a lot of the camera guys that the guy that runs behind the camera guy with the cable and all that, I became so good at that. But a lot of the older camera guys used to tell me, like, well, Ant, you know what? Eventually you got to get out of this space, you know, because you'll get pigeonholed here. But my thing was, I'm going to be a reporter. I don't care. I'm out here making my little $45, you know, a game. And I was just happy to be out there in the environment. And as time went on, we got into one Falcons game. And I'm going to make the connection with all this in a second. Got into one Falcons game, and the guy, Steve Angel, turned around and looked at me. He said, well, you're going to film halftime. So I looked at him, and I'm turning around looking like, well, he must be talking about Cedric, because, I mean, I ain't never picked up no camera. Halftime came, he turned around, handed me the camera, and I'm looking at him like, well, I don't. Put the headset on. My director at the time, T-Bone, said, "And is that you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, go out there and frame up the drum major." And I'm like, "The what?" He was like, "The dude with the big ass hat on his head. Go frame him up." Feel right. So it was like remember, it was like a black, I think it was like a black college band. So, you know, they moving and shit and flipping. So I'm all out there with the camera on my shoulder, all out of focus and shit, everything rambling and you know, all tears running all out my eyes and shit. So didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? So as time went on, I got a taste of it. And then after that, they started letting me film halftime. And then from there, they would let me film like the kickoff. So in another game, they would let me film the third quarter. So what with Tracy and all the older guys would do was take me and they would move me up the field, and the director would cut around my camera, and then, they would help me frame the shot and everything. And it's amazing because I think about how I started, and now I could track a goddamn NASCAR, a car at 300 miles an hour and focus and just see it go across. Like, I'll see it before it happens. You know what I mean?
All right,
like golf balls in the air. And, I'm usually during football games, I'm usually the low end zone. And what that position is, it's pretty much like the honcho camera when you on those shows, because that camera basically, everything is coming at you. So I'm a Tom Brady and walk to the line and we be in their face masks and they be, and I might be on Tom Brady and I might drop off to the running back or drop down to the center and come back up to him. You know what I mean? Or when the ball is coming, I'm sitting on it tight. As soon as the receiver get it, I'll widen out and catch him. So that camera is very, very aggressive. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to. So usually the person that's running that camera is usually the G on the crew. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Then maybe the cart guy. Like I was on ESPN's Friday Night Crew for 5 years. So you see the guy that goes up and down the sideline on that crane? I was the cart guy for them from, I've been off that crew about 3 years now. So yeah, I was there for about 5 years with them. So all that to say is I just kind of tripped. I went from not understanding and scared to death of that to the position that I'm sitting in now, and some of the history that I've been a part of, and some of the things that I've seen. Like I've been a part of, like I was part of the greatest college football comeback in history, TCU in Oregon. But nobody, like y'all would never know that until I said something about it. You know what I mean? But that kind of led me to being a reporter also, because by me being a camera guy, that's how I met my producer for GPTV, who gave me the opportunity to be a reporter. So it all intertwines, and now, I've gotten into directing. I have a fitness show that I created called Peach Fit. I had a talk show that I created and directed. I have a sports show called Fill in the Blanks now that, my two talent come on every Wednesday at 4:00. I'm creating a food truck show now that I have a food truck. So I'm trying to move myself in a position, where I can make the decisions, and like I said, I love what I do. It's just, when you're dealing with certain personalities and fucking assholes that you're dealing with, and then a lot of guys in this business, man, I'm going to tell you, they miserable as fuck. Miserable. Hey. Never home. Go ahead, Craig. Sorry.
Hey, it's a Wildcats podcast. We're still hanging out with my man, Anthony White, live sports cameraman, veteran, over 25 years in broadcast television. And he's breaking it down, his career, how he got started. And this is my thing, man. What would you tell the youngin that's just like you got your assistant that's just graduating right now and they're trying to get into this broadcast business? Because I'll tell you my whole scope on it right now. I don't think from a school sense that you should take those classes. If you're going to take a broadcast communications class right now, I believe you should back that class up with something with information technology, business management, accounting. You just can't just lean on that broadcast television right now. You cannot do it. So what would you tell a young person like that, man?
Well, the thing, Craig, and this being in and Al too, like that money is dried up. Like I always tell people, you can't get rich in this business now.
Yeah.
You can't get rich in this business if you break it in, trying to be a reporter, trying to be working and that's like most businesses now. I mean, that work 30 years, get that gold watch, that shit out the door. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have no type of entrepreneur mind right now, you're going to be stuck. And think about and I'll talk about, think about our age bracket. All of us came up together. So all of us right here at 50. Okay? So we are on the fucking fence. Either we take the chance and go do some entrepreneurial shit, or, and all of us know, growing up in DC, everybody got a government job, right? That's how we were raised, get a government job. Some of my boys and my friends, got locked into their government job and they're comfortable there, okay? I don't knock anybody's hustle, but I tell a lot of my students now that's trying to break into this business, you know, be creative on some things that's your own. I mean, you know, you have all this technology, you have all of this, you know, these things accessible to you that we didn't. I mean, when I was at Clark Atlanta, you know, in the mass comm department, when I was a student, it's crazy. We had a camera and a half, and we was pumping out 10 shows a week. These kids now got 30 cameras and they don't produce anything. And I'm constantly every week in the studio cussing and fussing because I'm like, why you got 2 studios, you got all this technology, you got your own TV station, and they're not producing anything. You know, the main thing I will tell a lot of these kids, get you a mentor, but get you a mentor that's in your field. Yeah, because your grandmother and your aunt, you know, mentored you about life and all that, but they can't talk to you about what it's like to deal with producers, deal with directors, trying to get, you know, what your resume should look like. You know, get you a mentor within this field because people like me know and understand it.
Hey, so we're still hanging out with Anthony White from Wildcats Podcast. We're gonna go to Al real quick. Al got a question. What's up, man?
All right, and let me ask you a question. From all your events that you have done, what is the one event that sticks out in your head as like, you know what? I am so happy I was here.
To be honest with you, bro, I have those aha moments now.
Okay.
You know, I have those aha moments now. Like I said, you know, when you're locked in, especially with me, because what people don't understand, when those lights go up, I can't make mistakes. You know what I mean? I can't make mistakes because, you know, now you at home as the viewer watching, you don't know something that's happened to me or something that I have, you know, another camera guy, somebody has screwed up because, you know, you don't see it like I do.
Right.
You don't see it like a person in the television world. So I have those aha moments now. I mean, I have a few. You know, I was talking about how I was a part of the Miracle in Minnesota, and the crazy part about it, my camera. Usually, when I work with the A Show, and that's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Usually, you know, Rich Russo, it's my dude. He's the director. He directs the A Show. He likes me. So a lot of times Rich pulls me when my crew doesn't have a game that week, I usually go with the A Show. So a lot of times I'll run camera 10. And what camera 10 is like I'm high up in the top of the stadium at an angle. So a lot of times I'm usually the hot receiver. So if you ever watch a lot of the Dallas games, because usually I've been doing a lot of Cowboy games with him, the hot receiver is.
Can we talk about the Redskins? No,
we don't watch Dallas. We don't watch Dallas.
Can you give us another example?
We don't watch the Redskins either. We don't watch the Redskins either.
Can you give us another example? Can we get another example?
You heard these examples. Stop hating.
It's only one Dallas fan right here right now.
Right. So I'm usually covering the hot receiver. So at this point in time, it was funny because, you know, the game was pretty much over, New Orleans and in Minnesota. So, you know, Rich was like, camera 10, he was like, Ant, get Drew Brees. So I'm sitting on Drew Brees, the Saints, you know, they hugging and high-fiving. I mean, and I literally, people, the whole dome in Minnesota, you could hear people crying. It was just dead silence. And all of a sudden, so I'm sitting on Drew Brees in my viewfinder, and I hear, so like, you know, in my ear, I got the director and I got the commentators in one ear. So when I'm working, I got to distinguish between all of them talking, you know, and picking my shots off and, you know, going my assignment. So I'm sitting on Drew Brees looking at my, you know, because I was going to get him with the handshake coming out. Then all of a sudden I heard Joe Buck goes, what was the old boy? Shit, who was the receiver? Was it Webb?
Diggs.
No, it's Diggs.
Diggs takes off down the sideline. So literally, I'm looking across the field, you know, because our cameras, we can shoot to a whole another damn state. So I'm sitting on Drew Brees, and I looked around my viewfinder, and I saw Diggs going down the sideline. So when I looked back at my viewfinder, Drew Brees was gone. And I was like, oh, shit. So now the place just started erupting. Like, you could feel the stadium doing like this. I mean, and people are going nuts. So, and I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story about this. So I'm looking for Drew Brees, like, oh shit, where did he go? And like the headset was just quiet because nobody could believe what was just happening. So when Diggs got in the end zone, I'm looking like, so now at this point in time, you know, we start telling the story. So now I'm looking for distressed players. I'm looking like, because think about it, majority of the time, everybody's going to show happy. But now we got to start showing players crying, leaning, you know, doing whatever. So that's when I basically had like the shot of the day because the New Orleans Saints player, number 11, put his hands on his head, and he turned around. And it was funny because he turned right around and looked kind of like right in my camera direction. And he was like, what the fuck just happened? But think about this. Y'all guys wouldn't have never known that was me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like, you don't see me. But I'll tell you a funny story about that. So the Minnesota mascot, the dude, so when Diggs took off and got down the end zone, if it's only one camera angle, you can really see it. The Minnesota mascot was in the tunnel taking off the costume. So what happened when he turned around and Diggs was in the end zone like this, you can see him like, oh shit. So he started putting the costume back on to come back out in the stand and out back on the field. True story.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. All right, it's a Wildcats podcast, man. We're still hanging out with my dude, Anthony White, professional cameraman, live sports cameraman. And I'm going to go to our Facebook page. We got a question coming from my man, Kevin Qualls, another Wildcat.
Kevin Qualls, K. Qualls.
Yeah. He says, how would you feel about helping our troubled youth? We have a grant from Maya Angelou, and we train youth in computer certificates and ASC certs. This could be a good opportunity also.
Well, you know what? I do as much as I can for any type of youth here, because I know that me being a male, no kids, the career that I have, everything, and it's very important for me to step back and start giving to the community. Because the thing is with me, like I'm always so busy and gone and traveling. And a lot of times what I don't want is I don't want to lend my time and get someone's hopes up, okay? And I'll relate that back to my childhood, like growing up without a father. You know, my father, oh, I'm going to come get you. And I'll be standing in the window and wait on his ass, and his ass will never show up. Okay? And so I would never want to do that to, you know, the youth, you know, because I know that if they see me coming in the door and I'm, you know, coming in with this, X, Y, Z, and rah, and then I can't show up for the next week, I know that's a letdown. But I've taken it upon myself within the last couple of years to do a lot with the youth. Right now, I got a lot of damn youth with my with my damn students because they worry the hell out of me all goddamn night long, calling me Mr. White, 3 o'clock in the morning. But you know, I love them because I know that that's what how they're trying to push along. And I know I am a voice of reason for them. So, no, I have no problem with helping out as much as I can. I think that where it gets a little twisted is, and I just keep it 100, a lot of times people, when they see me, they see Charles Barkley, they see Shaq, they see Magic, they see Ken, they see Steve Smith, they see Chris Webber. So they see all these guys, but you're not really seeing me, you're seeing them. And I mean, I could just tell you over and over and over countless times how people always tell, hey, Ann, I got this idea. You think Shaq could go for it? No.
You next to the man.
Well, shit, how the hell would Shaq gonna help you when Shaq ain't never
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make that connection. You know? So that's where I get a lot of you know, when people want me to do something, it's not necessarily they want me, they want them. And I get it. I mean, I have to explain to people, yeah, them dudes like my big brother. I mean, I roll, you know, I mean, I honestly have to admit, like, if something ever happened to me, I would never have to really worry about, because I know them dudes would take care of me, because they know I ain't no bum-ass dude out here. Like, I mean, I don't care nothing about their money, because we make them look good on that damn show. And they
so are you basically saying you're not going to ask Shaq or Charles to come on our show?
Yeah,
is that what you said?
that's why we thought
Is that what
you
you're
was
saying?
gonna do that for us, man.
Oh, let me
God
Is-
damn.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly,
Is that
man.
what you saying?
Hey, we take Kenny. Bring Kenny
I
on.
told Dave this shit wouldn't work.
Hey, man. Wrap this shit up.
Wow.
He said wrap it up. He said wrap it up.
Let's wrap this up.
And let me follow up a little bit with you because you brought up Drew Brees, and I wanted to see what did you think about what he said about the national anthem and everything transpired in the last few weeks. I want to get your opinion on that.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. All these dudes, you say that shit. You said that shit with his heart. So bottom line, I mean, if that's what he believed in, that's what he believed. I think that when it comes down to a lot of this stuff, and people get mad at what people say, and I get it because right now the climate that we're in, it's not a good climate. You know what I'm saying? And racism is real. I mean, shit. And I'll tell y'all a few stories about me going out with my reporter. I mean, as a reporter in this state of Georgia, and I would be all over this damn state, and my camera guy was white, and I would get to places, and I would look like uppity ass nigga getting out the car. And Gary's lugging all the equipment and shit, right? But I'm the reporter. He technically works for me. But I would have principals that wouldn't even speak to me. They would speak through him to me. You know what I mean? Or going in places like in Supperton and down in Brunswick where Amar got killed. Like, I've been in all those places, and we would walk in the stores and shit like that. And he would come in like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Like, because he had no fucking clue, and I would be uncomfortable in places. You know what I'm saying? Like restaurants and shit like that. So to answer your question about Drew Brees, that shit is real. Like, if you could be mad at him because I think it was very, very distasteful what he said, you know what I'm saying? But when you stop to look at it, that's how he really feels. That's how he really feels. Now, I think that the screwed up part about it is you're backtracking because I don't know if y'all saw me post. I said, yeah, you sorry when you're caught. Okay?
Yeah.
People are always sorry when they caught. Like old boy was Rich Dad Poor Dad. He posted that shit on Twitter. Now everybody roasting his ass. And then everybody come out with these bullshit ass apologies. But if you're saying what you feel and you're trying to stick to your guns, but what's happening, the whole nation is on your back right now. So now you start pulling back. Wait a minute. You ain't Billy Badass no more. And I know that some cats have forgiven him and all that. And a funny story, I did the last damn game that New Orleans lost to Minnesota again this past year in the playoffs with that whole push off and shit. I was there again. Damn, I must be the goddamn.
They gonna let you back, man.
They gonna keep you from coming
But
down
it
that
was
jump.
weird because at the end of the game, I'm standing on the elevator to go up and break down my camera, and Drew Brees got on the elevator with me. And it was just me and another guy. And I'm saying, damn, shit, this Drew Brees. And he looked at me, and from what I know, I don't know him personally, but what I know and understand, he's a very, very nice guy. I mean, because he has done a lot for that city. But you stick by your guns because you said that shit with your heart. So that was your real feeling.
Hey, you know what? It's a Mockcast podcast. We're still hanging out with Anthony White. When you talk about backtracking and companies and people, like Drew Brees had to apologize because he got caught. It's a lot of companies doing that. You can say you got Starbucks. At first, they didn't want anybody wearing any Black Lives Matter paraphernalia. A week later, okay, yeah, y'all can wear that. Y'all can wear that. It's no problem with that. They trying to they trying to save face and save the brand to save their money. That's the bottom line. You also had Walmart. Now Walmart is going to carry. They're going to keep their multicultural beauty products, just like CVS is doing right now. We got the biggest one, which is Roger Goodell in the NFL. He made his apology, but which was bullshit because in that one time did he not mention Cap in his apology? The whole reason we're in the space that we're in right now with the NFL. Huh?
Who Jerry Jones?
Jerry
That's good.
Jerry not gonna say nothing.
He about to
Jerry
ask
not
the
gonna
boy.
say nothing. He's gonna put up some money. He ain't gonna say anything.
No,
But at the end of the day, you got to really think about it because we don't know what's in the settlement. We don't know what's in the settlement, like paperwork. I mean, for jury defense and NFL defense, because, you know, when you do make a settlement, you ain't going to say, I'm not faulting that I did it, and we don't want you to say we did it.
And
So
it's probably in the settlement. It's probably
I agree with that, but then I disagree with that, because my thing is right now, we're in a time that we need the nation to kind of, everybody need to just calm down, because, I mean, think about this. Like right now, you know, I jog in my neighborhood, I ride my bike and shit, but I shouldn't have to carry my gun and shit when I'm riding my bike. And I live in a very affluent neighborhood. White folks all around me, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, and they see me jogging past their house every damn day, okay? So I shouldn't have to be uncomfortable, but think about, you know, all the Karens and everybody calling people on the black person jogging past their house or in their neighborhood. So think about the type of environment that we're in now. Like I thought about driving home because shit, I ain't working. I wanted to come on DC, see my mom. But now I think about, do I really want to get on that road? Because I mean, I done got a ticket in every state between Georgia and my colleges. I ain't talking about that, right? But I mean, to think about getting pulled over on the highway right now. I mean, because shit, think about it. They just killed a black man the other night here. So, I mean, you would think that the whole, you know, what we're going through right now, that people would take a step back, but it's even more intensity now. And if these guys killed this black man the other night for a damn taser, and he was running away from them,
For falling asleep in the car.
right at the window, and he actually drove the car.
He pulled off. Yeah, he pulled over.
Right. So you know, it's you know, it's just a difficult times that we're in right now, and you know, and it's some uncomfortable times. I mean, especially here in Georgia. I mean, shit. I know y'all catching hell at home with that asshole up there. So, you know, I mean, it's different. So I mean, and Georgia's pretty much kind of like a mirror him when you start, because people think Atlanta, you think Georgia. No. You go 2 minutes outside of Atlanta in Dallas, Georgia, and some of these other places, Forsyth County and shit like that. They don't want no niggas up there.
Yeah.
They don't.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. So what do you think? What's your intake on let's say Steven Jackson's new video? I don't know if you've seen it yet, of the video of him talking about the NBA players playing or not playing. What is your intake on that?
Well,
That's a tough one.
I mean, you know what? It's hard for me to even answer it. Now you're asking my opinion. I mean, I really don't have an opinion, because I keep telling people, and I keep saying this: sports is not coming back. Okay, and when I say sports is not coming back, meaning that it's not going to come back the way that we're used to seeing it. Now, okay, so hear me out. Like right now, they got the college players practicing and shit like that, but a lot of these kids now, even at Alabama, are getting sick because they're catching the COVID, okay? And I'm quite sure there's plenty of schools out there that haven't even reported any COVID issues, because they don't want, you know, this to like have people scared and in an uproar. But you got to think about the difference between pro and college. See, the college can be like, well, y'all got to get out there and play. It's y'all scholarship. See, they can force these cats to play. In the pros, what LeBron said, oh, you know what? I ain't comfortable. I ain't playing. What the NBA going to do?
Nothing.
Do you think the
Lose
NBA
money.
play?
Yeah,
Cry
right,
like some
exactly.
bitches.
Like, I mean, to think about it, he is the face of the NBA. If LeBron said, you know what? Nah, I ain't comfortable with this. I don't want to play.
They gonna come out with a speech and be like, you know what? I guess we ain't playing.
Oh, you know, no question.
Because
LeBron has that power, just like MJ had the power back in the day. I had to get that out, but go right ahead.
MJ ain't use it though. MJ ain't use it.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn.
Oh, well, he used it. He used
look,
it.
man.
Glenn.
You just
Hey,
said
man,
no.
we not going
Here
there.
we go.
Hey, we not
Hey,
even gonna go there. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, man. Me and Al have been going back and forth all day on that question. You know, we've been sending messages for last 3 hours back and forth. Outside of everybody on the group, just me and him going back and forth. But what I was saying was, it's hard for Steven Jackson to make that call for every player, because it's levels to those guys in the NBA.
Exactly.
You know, it's a superstar can say, okay, I'm not gonna play. But if you got a youngin that's living check to check, because you know, a rookie is not going, he's not established in doing all of that. Like a rookie is not gonna Craig, I see the face that you
You
make.
ain't talking about rookie. You ain't talking about rookie.
What the hell is he doing living check to check in the NBA? That's
They
his
got bills.
problem.
They got bills like everybody else and stuff, man. But
Yeah.
but even with Kyrie,
lifestyle.
even with Kyrie came out, and a group of guys came out with Kyrie. And it's like all of the people that that was on the contingent of
They making
Kyrie,
40 million.
that and the fact that they weren't even going to be playing. Like Kyrie, like he hasn't played all season, so it's like Kyrie, come on, man.
Yeah,
It's like you wasn't even going to play.
So look, this is the thing this is the point that I made to Al, and this was the kind of the analogy that I used with it was like I kind of put the whole situation right now as equivalent to the way that people mourn. I can't tell you how to mourn, and you can't tell me how to mourn because everybody does it their own way. So you got some people that are not really activists and are not going to go out there and protest. They may be a silent donation or what have you, but somebody can't tell me how I'm supposed to react to this.
Okay.
Because everybody's going to look at it different.
I agree.
But let me say this: me and Kenny had the same conversation, right? And I said, "Council, Kenny, them guys not going to get out there and play all over the top." And I said, "What if LeBron don't play?" And Kenny said, "Well, you know what? LeBron don't run the league." He said, and they're trying to put stuff in place for these guys to come back and play. Now, I brought up the same, comment. So think about it. If LeBron making $100 million a year, but then you got this dude down on the end of the bench
making league minimum,
so it's going to kind of be like crossing the picket line. So think about it. At least NBA contracts are guaranteed. MLB contracts are guaranteed. The NFL, them contracts not guaranteed. And those dudes are jumping on top of each other even more than the NBA guys.
Accident every play.
Yeah. So, that's why right now the talk is to go back to Orlando. Because, see, they have already contacted me to come back to work in July, but they're just waiting to see what these guys want to do. But now they're talking about, okay, well, putting guys in everybody in Orlando, well, your families can't be there. You're going to be there for so much time. Can you leave the hotel and go out? And think about this, man. These guys ain't trying to hear that, especially these younger guys. I mean, because they want to get out and floss, and because all of them is stuck in the house, and they got their jump off joints. They tired of them. You know what I'm saying? They can't get so you got to think about all those things that are a factor. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have guys that's going to cross the picking line because they need the money, but then you're going to have guys like, nah, I ain't really trying to play. And then think about this. Same thing that happened with Magic when Magic came out with said he had HIV. How many guys are you really think going to get out there and really, really try to go hard because they ain't trying to bump into each other? Is somebody going to be out there with a mask on trying to shoot the ball and dribble?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and see, my whole point with Keith was like, nobody's living check to check right now because everything's on froze. So what is the argument here?
What's
it's like
free? What's frozen?
They're not gonna get paid.
Let me say something. It's a lot of these dudes out here that's broke, bro.
Yeah.
And they trying to go back to work.
Because the thing about a lot of young guys, the reason why they were always scared to come into our show is because Charles and Shaq and all them, the time we had matches, they would talk about, tell them young guys, like, listen, don't spend all your money. Don't do this, don't do that. And see, them young guys ain't want to hear that shit because, they looking like, oh, this Stanley, get off my lawn. You know what I'm saying? But then, and I'm telling you, as much as I've ear hustled and been in on so many stories about cash out wouldn't even believe that's broke and borrowing money from other players and stuff like that. That's just stuff that I'm privy to because I'm there, but you'll be amazed, man. A lot of these guys are living check to check or they're living beyond their means.
Give Craig one example because he made that face like it's not supposed to happen.
No. See, that's hold on. This is where the mistake happening is because my thing was we in the pandemic. It's not like a regular world right now. Mm-hmm. So it ain't like everybody's paying rent. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, can I finish?
I still don't know what side of the fence you and Keith on. Y'all said y'all talked about it, but what do y'all like? What's the fence?
I'm saying that folks are going. I said there's levels to it. Folks are going back because they want the money. Just like if any of us was supposed to be going to work.
And my point is like, why would you even play right now? Because right now we got a pandemic going on, and we got pandemic going on, and we have
civil unrest.
Civil unrest. We got civil unrest.
Right, but if you got a chance to go back to work, if they tell you go back to work on Monday, are you going?
That's my point. Most people on this podcast are working from home, right? But if they told you that you had to go to work next week, you gonna tell them, what would you tell them? You gonna tell them, nah, I'm not coming to work?
And you won't get paid.
Hey, but let me jump in here real quick.
Let me answer.
This is my
I asked him a question. What's like? Are you not gonna go to work? So you was like, why are you saying that these guys should have the option to say I'm not going to work? It's a job.
No,
that was my point.
No. My point is the option is your season is already over.
It's not.
It's not over. It's not over. That's the whole premise.
Because after June 6th, we don't have NBA. After June 6th, we don't have NBA.
No, forget the season being over. Let's stick to the straight facts. They have a boss. They have an owner. The owner is saying that we're going to go back to work. We're gonna just like every job, every industry is just like Anthony's in Georgia. They was the first to open up. Right? People criticize them for opening up so early, but everybody is going to go back in phases. The NBA is no different. Your job has to come up with a plan for you to slowly come back into the workforce.
See, and the difference is between your workforce and their workforce is they have a union.
We wasn't talking about the union. You said there was no reason for them to go back to work because the bills.
But they have a union.
This is on freeze. This is on freeze.
But they have a union.
I'm getting bills every week.
I'm gonna jump
that's
in.
You have a union.
It's some Wildcats podcast right now. We're debating whether NBA players should go back, shouldn't they go back. I'm gonna just throw my opinion in here real quick because I'm gonna have to channel Agent Asshole. I don't care about these young rookies that are living check to check. That's their fucking problem. They're the idiots for spending their fucking money. They had people like, they could have talked to people like Kenny, Shaq, or Charles. These motherfuckers could have listened. They didn't want to listen. They ain't got no money now. That's on them. Y'all saying, oh, they only making what? What's the league minimum right now? Is it like $1 million or is it?
So what's your point, Craig? Get it out, man. Get it out.
My point is, I don't care about these youngers crying about they want to get back to work because they broke and they NBA, they shouldn't go back. Fuck it. If LeBron
they shouldn't go back. Okay, why? Why do you feel like you
you have more of a chance of catching that COVID? You got more of a chance of spreading that shit with the close contact and getting sick. Why do it?
You got more of a chance. You got more of a chance going to the store, going out in the street and catching it. It's going to happen.
You need somebody to test it.
When the last time you been in the office?
You got 2 jobs, Craig. Why are you back at work?
So you stay in the house. You going to work.
I don't give a fuck about them rookies. What about the dudes at PGC? They're league minimum.
Y'all let me talk.
They will never let you talk. They will never let you talk.
Talk some real shit.
Talk about nobody let you talk. What you talking about? They don't let you talk.
Y'all had the most
man. I know talking about they don't let you talk.
Y'all not talking right now in reality.
Go ahead, asshole. Tell them, man.
When I go to work, I'm only one person in the studio when I go on Sunday. One person.
It don't matter.
What you mean it don't matter?
A germ's a germ, shoot. And the mask don't stop you from spreading and not getting it. I've been trying to tell you for you.
So you trying to tell me with a basketball player with 10 niggas on the court sweating, running up and down each other, I got a better chance of getting
the people in your office ain't been tested.
Come on.
People in your office ain't been tested.
Do they take everybody's temperature that come through your building every day?
3 shows ago, Craig, we talked about the fact that the average working man is going to go back to work when his boss.
These NBA players on average.
Let him talk, Craig. Let him talk, Craig.
And guess what's not going to happen when we all go back to work? We not going to be tested. These dudes going to be tested probably every day they go to work.
Yep.
Every day.
Well, I'm going to tell you that. Now, let me say this. The thing is, one thing y'all got to realize, stuff like this already been going down. It's just what the leagues have been doing, they've been real quiet about it. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to get people all in an uproar. But a lot of these guys, I mean, you really don't know who's infected and who's not because of what's going on. Now, we all know it's big business about money. So just like how living here in the state of Georgia, shit, we trying to, you know, stay bunkered down and everything. But as you know, this fucking government don't care. They're willing to go ahead and lose lives for the sake of the economy.
That's because they losing black lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Majority.
So, and these owners, if you notice, ain't none of them really stepping up to say too much anything, because what people don't realize and understand too, it's more about greed than anything, okay? Because these owners already get the TV revenue share. They already rich.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you're getting $100 million from the TV revenue share, but then you're making money in concessions and parking and tickets, that's another $20 million. They still bitching about that $20 million. So you're a fucking billionaire, but you're complaining that you're broke. Like, think about this. These motherfuckers, besides Mark Cuban, these motherfuckers are like, you think Jerry Jones ever gonna be broke?
No.
No. You understand what I mean? So it's like, so the point is, why wouldn't somebody like him be compassionate about what the hell's going on? You know, because it's like, this motherfucker ain't gonna never be broke. And even if he had to pay his players out for the next 20 years, he would still never be broke. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I understand what Steven Jackson is talking about. Like, right now, this is a time for people to be coming together. And then granted, let me say this. One thing about sports don't have no face and don't have no color and no race, because y'all know how it is. Them boys down there running around in Alabama and all these, you know, they ain't calling them no niggas while they're on the field, while they scoring and winning.
Right, they love them to death on Saturdays down there in the SEC.
Right, but that goes everywhere. That goes everywhere, bro. You know, and that's in all places. It's like when them boys step off the field and take off them helmets, they still a black man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you.
You know, so like that's what that shit with Dabo Sweeney. Like, I don't like that shit to me with Dabo Sweeney and Drew Brees, and they start, you know, my faith and my Christian, but I have done fucking NASCAR and Supercross and monster trucks and all that shit. Let me tell you, the most hypocritical motherfuckers are them white boys out there screaming and hollering, oh, praying to Jesus and we Christians and all this, but then you hate black people.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know? You hate black people. So how's that making you a Christian? So to get back to what the point about Drew Brees early, he said that shit with his chest because that's how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dabo Sweeney in there, then you recruiting all these brothers coming in, making Clemson great and all that type of shit. But you still haven't really addressed the issue, because they always sit around and talk about, oh, well, I need to learn. And I always tell everybody, think about this shit. We've always had to learn their history. They've never had to learn ours.
Amen. Preach on.
So that's real talk. So that's why when all they keep talking about, oh, we got to learn and we got to, you know, that's bullshit. Like, y'all don't care to learn. You have to learn now, because you know why? Motherfuckers ain't working. People out here protesting. So now, because think about it.
Amen.
This is what I told them last week, Ant. I said the only reason that the difference between 2017 when Kaepernick was protesting and what happened right now in 2020 was that the pandemic was going on, everybody was home, and there was nothing else to see. Exactly. Now it's thrown in your face. So for Drew Brees to still miss that point, that it's about the flag and not about police brutality, I don't want to hear your apology, because you said it with too much conviction.
He said it in 2016, same thing.
Let me say this.
Right, but I'm saying he's still missing the point, thinking that it's about the flag.
Sure.
It's not about the flag.
Absolutely.
It's not about the flag.
Hold, guys. Think about this. If this had happened to George Floyd and the country was still moving along, they wouldn't be caring about that. They'd be like, man, get the hell out of my way. Get them off.
It wouldn't be all of this that's going on right now. It wouldn't.
Everybody will be distracted right now.
It would maybe in Minneapolis it might be going on up there for the folks that's up there that's going to see it.
But Keith, think about it.
All around the country, no.
But if people were still going to work, they'll be pissed off that they can't get to their jobs and all this. They wouldn't be giving a damn about no damn.
It's another news story.
I got pulled over in Indianapolis. Minneapolis coming at the Final Four 2 years ago. I'm trying to get after the game. I'm moving, right? I'm trying to get back to my hotel. Like, after big events like that, I always on the first flight out because I don't be getting caught up in the craziness. So I'd rather just finish at the stadium at 4 o'clock in the morning and get on the 6 o'clock plane. That's just my shit. So I'm getting to the hotel, right? And me and my other camera guy, he's a white guy, Curl, we always laugh at this shit. And I have a young brother in the back seat. So when the white guy pulled us over, the cop, he pulled me over right as I was getting ready to turn into the hotel. I'm like, fuck. So I laughed because Curl was sitting over there, Curl was looking straight ahead, and he was like, yeah, everybody just be cool. So I'm looking at him, white dude, he's just like, yeah, everybody be cool. Yeah, just go ahead and put the car in park.
With the pin jump.
Hold on, man. Everybody just don't move your hands up there. And I'm sitting in the driver's seat like, fuck, man, I'm trying to get to my plane. Dude walks up to the car, and he's like, yeah, you know how fast you were going? I was like, well, officer, he said, because you came flying past me. I said, officer, look, I'm sorry. I said, I'm trying to get to, the airport because my plane leave at 6, and he was like, oh, okay. Carol was sitting over there just chilling, right? So the going joke with us is, if it was just me and Cook in the backseat, that could have been a different story. Now, let me tell you this and how I get away with shit at times. I've been in places, like one time I was in Alabama. Oh, the only reason why I kind of got off that, because he saw my credentials with me with CBS and Turner. He said, yeah, I would hate for you to have to leave here with a ticket. So he gave me a warning because of what I was doing, right? I've had plenty of times, like when I used to travel before I was flying, I would always drive when I had to go to the local games and shit, and I would have my credentials in my seat. Because if I'm going through South Carolina to Clemson or Alabama, because a lot of these places I don't have to fly to, they want me to drive because it's an hour or 2 hours away. And I'm coming through Alabama like 4 a.m. True story. The cop, it's like me and 2 other cars. And this is how television and racism works for you at times, okay? So it's 2 cars in front of me, and it's a police car, and it's like a truck. So the police car, I'm on one of them little kind of route, like a 301 type of road, where it's like, it's a highway, but then it has a traffic light. So dude doing about 15 miles an hour, 15, and he slows down to about 10. I'm like, fuck. So all of us have to go around him. Who you think he pulled over? Okay. He gets out the car. He walks up to the window, dome light on, my hands are up here. And he says, well, license and registration. Hand him that. And I said, well, officer, I said, may I ask you why you pulled me over? Craziest shit I ever heard in my life. He said, oh, your headlights were too bright, and I thought you was trying to play a joke on me.
Oh, shit.
What?
Oh, my God. What? I ain't never heard that one. That's a new one there.
Matter of fact, Anthony, somebody just got shot for that, man. The dude with the heart attack.
Right. Okay. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you how gangster it gets, though. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, my headlights are too bright. So I'm looking at it, and I didn't know the other officer. And it's dark. He comes up along the other side. He said he thought you was trying to play a joke on him, too. So old boy flashing the light in the car. So now I'm in the car like, oh, shit. 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Alabama somewhere. So he comes around, and I was just like, man, just give me my fucking ticket. Are you fucking kidding me? My headlights too bright, and this little ass rental car I got. So he goes, I said, well, officer, and this is how I always get him. I said, well, officer, I said, I'm just trying to get to my hotel. How far do I have to go? Picked up my paperwork, and at the top of my paperwork, it had ESPN. He goes, oh, you work for ESPN? Said it. I said, I got him.
Straight.
I was like, yeah, I just kept looking straight ahead. And he was like, oh, well, what do you do for them? And I said, I'm one of the camera guys. One question asked, they just kept looking straight ahead. So he was like, the other guy was like, oh, well, that got to be a fun job. And you travel all over the country.
Goddamn groupies.
That's what it is. That's what it was.
It gets better. So the other guy goes, oh, yeah. I said, well, yeah, it's, I said, is it Troy's home? Yeah, it's Troy State's homecoming. And I said, well, yeah, I got to be at the field at 7 o'clock in the morning. He said, oh, yeah, well, you're about 30 minutes away. Oh, this is you. Yo, man, you got to have a great job. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. He said, well, we just pulled you over. We thought you was trying to play a joke on us. Follow us. These motherfuckers turned on their side.
Yeah, police escort.
They gave me a 20-minute escort with the car. I couldn't even keep up in that little ass car I had.
Damn.
They waved me past. I'm like, go ahead. Balling.
Wow.
Bro, I mean, this shit is crazy, but, you know, it's times that you have to use, like, man, I've been places and shit when they find out with the media, because like I said, a lot of times I'm the only black guy. So that shit is real. And like, I have to use my credentials and shit like that in order to move me through. But the sad part about it is, if I didn't have that shit and I'm walking onto a scene, like I said, I have directors that didn't know me at first, and they will put me on bullshit cameras and move me over here. And my thing was, the stupid part about that shit, why the fuck would CBS and Fox and all of them travel me to this city if I wasn't any good?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the dumb shit.
Right.
Man. Hey, it's some Wildcats podcast. We're hanging out with my man Anthony White. Man, you mentioned earlier about you ear hustle and you're privy to some conversations that, you know, that go on that sometimes you can't talk about. Fuck that right now. We want to know why MJ hates Charles Barkley, man. Just let us know why he hates Charles Barkley, man. What the hell happened?
Said it. Charles told it. He told it on the interview.
Well, you know what? I mean, Chuck always says that and Kenny always laughs at them, and Kenny teases the whole thing between them because, you know, Kenny and MJ played in North Carolina together, and they cool. And then my understanding, you know, Charles, I mean, I knew Charles and MJ was cool. I mean, with all the gambling and all the stories I know about that type of shit when they was out having fun. But, you know, the story is, I guess, Charles was talking about how bad he was as a owner, you know, and I don't think he was saying it from a standpoint of, yeah, you know, he's a terrible person or whatever. But I guess just making owners' decisions, because I mean, think about it. Even though you might be a great player, doesn't mean you know how to coach.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, and we always talk about Steve Kerr, but Steve Kerr kind of fell into a good situation. You know, Coach Kerr, that's my dude. You know what I'm saying? But he fell into a good situation. You know what I mean? So,
that was Mark Jackson, Mark.
Yeah. So, and I think that Mike, because as you saw on the documentary, Mike could be very, very sensitive. And like I said, and I don't know Michael Jordan. Don't get me, you know, I'm not saying today talk like I know him, but what I could just understand and things that I've heard, you know, he's very sensitive, and he can, you know, if he can hold a grudge, like he hold, and you saw that on the documentary. And I think
did we see that shit? Yeah.
You just said that nigga's sensitive, so that means that nigga's a bitch.
Bitch Mike.
No, Al, don't go there, Al. Don't call sensitive bitches, Al. Stop, Al. Stop it, Al. Stop it right now, Al. Al, we ain't doing that, Al.
Hey, Anthony, it's an underlying theme here that somebody on this podcast is real sensitive. That's what Anthony Cowan is pointing out right now.
Not pointing out anything. Tell a story, Anthony. Tell a story.
And what happens, Anthony, what happens is the person, Anthony always takes this point to point out a person being sensitive, but what we learned is that Anthony got bullied as a child.
We learned.
Because you know him from middle school, we all know you 35, 40 years, whatever.
No, I ain't gonna mention
Anthony got bullied.
I remember Anthony used to always be on one person when we was in middle school. He's always talking about this one person. And we gonna talk about that person. But he's always talking about this one person. That's what I remember about Anthony in middle school.
There you go. Thank you, Anthony. I'm so glad that we had to clear this up.
Anthony, we good.
Dave, you saying this, Dave.
Rest in peace. No. I'm not gonna stop.
Dave, you saying that like he just made your point.
Rest in peace. Donald Stevens. Donald used to tell us that Anthony got bullied as a kid. So what we do is this is Anthony's time. What he does is he projects onto somebody else.
Okay, Dave.
Before somebody says something about him, he tries to put it on somebody else. So he's trying to just project it out to somebody else. You can go ahead and tell your story. That's all.
I just remember Anthony loved the debate. You couldn't get into a conversation with Anthony because he'd just go on it, or he'd be like, okay, Anthony.
He's still the same way.
Okay, I give in.
Oh, but when he losing the debate, he go, how do we get here? How do we get here?
Oh, Lord. He's still talking about that.
Why are we talking about this?
Hey, all right, Ralph Tresvant.
Hey, man, leave my teammate alone, man.
All right, it's a Wildcats podcast. We're still hanging out with my man Anthony White, professional sports, live sports cameraman, hanging out with us. And man, it's you ran it down about MJ and Charles. Okay, all right, man.
Well, let me finish. I don't think, like I've been in a circle with them when they have been, they talking, hugging, cordial, but I mean, as far as I know, I don't think it was no bad or not like that, because I mean, like Charles would tell stories about like I'll give y'all one story. Like he was talking about like during the Olympic team, and this is pretty much I thought he was gonna talk about this during the documentary, but he was talking about how like at night they would gamble every night and the stakes was like super, super high. But at the time, the only people that had money was Magic, Bird, and Mike. And he would tell the story about how like the stakes were so high that him, Scottie Pippen, Ewing, and Karl Malone, they shouldn't have been in the game because it was like big houses on the table, Ferraris,
damn.
Summer homes, like the keys and all that shit was like on the table, right? And stuff like that. But I mean, he talks about that stuff openly. I mean, ear hustling, you want to hear some of the, I'll tell you some stories about ear hustling with these dudes, man. Like funny stories like C-Webb talks about his first All-Star. And he talks about Larry Bird. So he said that, Larry Bird, he ended up in the car with Larry Bird, from the airport. So he said he got in the car. He's like, oh, shit, Larry Bird, like, wow, because, a lot of people don't know that Larry Bird, was a big trash talker. Because, if when we was growing up, we didn't know that because he looked like he never said anything. But C-Webb said that they got in the car. And he's like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Bird? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling I like the game. So they riding in the car. They get to the hotel. He said, Bird opens up the car door, looks at him, it's like, yeah, bitch, get my fucking bags out the back of the car or I'm going to bust your ass. Going on.
Oh,
Damn.
Facts.
Yeah.
I like Larry Bird now.
Like, it's just when you sitting around them dudes, man, some of the shit that you hear, because like y'all ain't, like I said, y'all are not in the circle. It's some things I can share, some things I can't say, but it's like some of them stories would just blow your mind as to how, like, because you'd be sitting there like, damn, dude did that, or he actually said that, or he was screwing this person's wife, and
I can imagine Oakley. I can imagine you talking. I can imagine you listen to Oakley stories. Oakley probably has.
Big Oak. I've only seen him a couple of times. I don't. I mean, I know he the bully in the game now. Him and Charles don't like Charles, so
Right.
But, it's a lot of that stuff that goes on in the background, man. It'd be so damn hilarious with them cats, man.
Right.
So I give you one funny story. It's Shaq was, and I didn't even know this, right? Because we all came out in '89, right? So think about that time. We all thought we was gonna be McDonald's All-Americans and all that, right? So Jimmy Jackson is a part of our crew now. So Jimmy Jackson, when they come in the studio, I have all my book with all the stuff in it from back in the day and all that. So we would always be talking about that. So I didn't know this story. I wrote a script called All-American Without the Mac. So basically I'm talking about the All-American at McDonald's All-American game from 85 up to like 90, 95, okay? So that's kind of like, remember at that time, with social media, you see everybody now, but think about it. You didn't see Shaq until you got to the McDonald's All-American game. You didn't see all these players. So one thing that me and Shaq do, we always, every Thursday, we always like, yeah, man, whatever happened to this guy? So we would always talk about stuff like that. So, me, him, and Jimmy Jackson, we was all sitting around talking one time. And Shaq started telling the story. Them dudes, Michael Tate, all them got in trouble the night before the McDonald's All-American game. They just send them home. And the only reason why they couldn't send them home is because who was going to play the next day. They couldn't justify why they were going to send them home. But yeah, Kenny Anderson, all of them got trouble the night before the McDonald's All-American game. So them dudes wasn't going to play in 89. Yeah. Wow. I was sitting there, so they telling me, I'm like,
what they do?
Well, I guess they, they got out and party, they high school. They got out and kicked it a little bit, and, and missed curfew and some other stuff, and,
Found some groupies, and it's some Wildcats podcast. Still hanging out with my man Anthony White. I'm gonna go to a question real quick from our Facebook page. Dodd White. He says, at one point you were putting together a documentary on Go-Go. You had some great footage and interviews. Are you still thinking about distributing it? Also, share your love for Go-Go and what it means to you. Talk about the music in our city, man. Go-Go.
Oh, man, born and raised on it, bro. That's why people in Atlanta, they laugh because they don't really understand it. And I always tell people that, you guys know this, basically go-go music shaped our lifestyle. And also too, go-go music has a lot of cats at home trapped. They would never go nowhere because they was always afraid to leave the city. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to, it wasn't about the New Balance or going to see Junkyard and all that. Because I remember when I first came to school here, cats was driving all the way home on the weekends just to see Junkyard 10 hours.
God damn.
Yeah. Craziness, man. Craziness. I have. So to get to the documentary, I was working on that thing for about 8 years, right? And and going back and forth, and I have to say probably I spent about $20,000, man, just going back and forth trying to get. But those guys and the musicians there, they would never buy into me because they always felt like, oh, well, who is this guy coming from Atlanta? But I'm like, well, no. Breeze is my uncle from the Metro Club. I grew up here. I did this, I did that. But they would still look at me as an outsider. And, the difficulty of it was I would come home for about 3 or 4 days and try to, get what I could get. Dudes would say, okay, I'm going to be here on this day. They wouldn't show up for their interviews and stuff like that. Tom, Chuck's manager, wouldn't let me talk to Chuck at the time, and I personally talked to Chuck myself, and he was like, "Yo, whenever you want to get down, and I'm all for it." But me coming in trying to renegade it was a little tough because documentaries. They were more sophisticated now, but when I was trying to do it, it was more like guerrilla warfare. I had my little camera trying to put it together. Now, what I used to try to explain to all of them is like, listen. This is what I do for a living, so my shit ain't gonna look like some, we shooting this shit at the gas station, with a goddamn flip phone. But I couldn't get them to buy into the concept of what I was trying to do. And what hurt me too is that I wasn't there, able to continue to, be there for a while and set up these interviews because I was kind of back and forth. Now, yes, do I have a bunch of footage? Yeah. Actually, I got an interview with Lil Benny that nobody has. Like, nobody has footage of Lil Benny being interviewed. They gonna come out with this documentary and all that stuff. Nobody has any footage of Lil Benny being interviewed.
Yeah, TV One got some coming up on the 21st.
Yeah. Did you ever think about sharing some of your footage, or you just
Well, they never came to me and asked me. And trust me, I get it. Because I even tried to link up with Genghis. Wouldn't return my call. The initials like, yeah, we'd talk. And trust me, I get it. I understand it. And then also too, a lot of these guys, man, they would have their damn hands stuck out with money. Like, trust me, I'm spending all the money. Documentaries don't make money. Like, my thing was, I was trying to get this documentary done for the love of the music and the love of my culture. I ain't care to make no money off of this. I knew it wasn't nothing that could be profitable at the time. It can be profitable now because of all the Netflix and the outlets that you have. But at that time when I was doing it, no. I came up with another idea with it in Grant Hill. Grant Hill is a part of us. So me and Grant has been talking about something, and it's kind of like talking about the music mixed in with the basketball element of the street balls because we still talk about that. So I put an idea on the table from him that I would take that we would intertwine it into that. But, when that if that happens to come about and do what it does, I mean, I'm going to do it just for the sake of saying that I completed it, and I'm going to tell it the way I lived it. So.
And also, what did you think about
in the water?
In the water. The Basketball County documentary.
You know what? I haven't. One of my partners sent that. I didn't even know that was because that's on Netflix, right?
Nah, it's Showtime.
Showtime.
Okay, is that the one that Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that. My boy sent me. It's funny. He just sent that to me the other day.
Okay.
So
check it out.
So I'll kick it. Check it out now.
Yeah, it's on.
You should be able
to
on demand. On demand. On Showtime.
Check it out.
Is that the one with the Prince George's County players?
Yeah, Quinn Cook and Kevin Durant and Mike Beasley. Those was the main guys that they talked about.
Yeah, and you actually sounded like you outside of some. Is that the one with the Prince George's County player? You sounded like an outsider right about now.
Really?
We PG, man. We PG, man.
Yeah, when I just got them dudes off you, now you gonna jump on me?
We PG. I'm like Prince George. I'm like, damn, did I listen to the wrong documentary? What the hell are you talking about?
The asshole has no friends.
And that question for you though. So you talking about the go-go side. At one time, Atlanta was starting to be a little second home for go-go, and they had their little bit of some of their own bands trying to generate. Because I went to like Atlanta a couple times to see, I think, Backyard and Junk. So my question to you, I know the trap music kind of took that fire, but is it still any little small go-go style bands down there in Atlanta?
My boy Norris, me and Norris graduated from Forestville together. Norris, he had a band he started here. Then you had what's it? Wayne used to talk for what was that? They made the Huckabucks. He used to be the lead talker for the Huckabucks, and he was here, and there was a couple of guys from the different bands that had migrated and was living here, so they came together. And I think Norris and them was trying to do that around 2003. They went for a couple of years, but they could never really get the following up. You know what I'm saying? So it just never really took off. I mean, here, at that time, Outkast and them exploding.
That trap music now, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it was just, it was hard.
But no, because I traveled to Atlanta, and it's like there was some crowds. I was a little shocked. I thought it was gonna be in that. Yeah, they had something, but I guess it never kicked off.
You can't, you're not gonna like how every week you be like, oh, we're gonna go see Essence of the Black Hole. Oh, we're gonna go see Essence. It's not like that. So people will come out for the crowd. Like I tried to do something. So with me and Robin with the Crossland, when Chuck passed away, we found this pizza bar. And I just made the whole Chuck, Brown night. So I took my fucking iPod, plugged into the piece, because, I got thousands of go-go, shows or whatever. So we just played Chuck all night, and that place was jumping. I mean, everybody from D.C. was in there. So me and Robin like, well, shit, maybe we could do this every week. It falls off. Because think about it, these cats, they got jobs, they going to work. They ain't really, it ain't. I mean, now what they have been doing this past summer, they had the Go-Go All-Star. So every week, I noticed Genghis would come down, and it would be different people from different bands, and they would play like the Metro Boys. Dino, he's been here for a while, so he started the whole Metro Boys thing. So they would have them come down, and they play at this pizza bar, I think like every other weekend or something, and it'd be different band members from the different groups up top.
Yeah, it's a lot of DC cats in Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
It's a big following there. Hey, but it's some Wildcats podcast, and we're hanging out with my man Anthony White. Man, before we let you go, Ant, you gotta tell us again about your food truck, about Wendell Seafood, man. What else is on that food truck besides the soup, man? What else can we get, man? What you got on that food truck, man?
Well, you know what? I came up with a crab melt. I have last week I had 2 soft openings, so I did an opening 3 weeks ago, and so what I did, I kind of invited everybody, like about 40 people that I knew. I was like, hey, bring a friend, and what that did is just trying to help me get some reps in, because I mean this is new to me. I mean this transition from television to a food truck. Shit, sometimes it felt like when I'm getting off that damn food truck, I done worked the goddamn Super Bowl for 18 hours, bro. And that's no joke. I mean, you know, keeping that thing clean and making, you know, stand there, you turn around and it's 30 people in the line. I'm like, oh shit, you know, and I got orders standing in front of me, sitting in front of me. It's been pretty cool so far. I really haven't dipped my foot totally into it, but everything started from the soup, and my focus was the soup and the crab salad, and then I was going to do grilled cheese. But now that I'm kind of in this food truck world, the guys, you know, the guy that owns my commercial kitchen, you know, they've been food truck owners for like 15 and 20 years, so they just started schooling me like, no, it's hard to do stuff a la carte. You need baskets, you need combos. So then I was like, okay, shit. So I said, well, let me incorporate some fries. And then next thing you know, me and my man on the truck fooling around one day, then I came up with this recipe called surf no turf. And literally, we just fell into it. So what it is waffle fries, cheese, crab meat with cheese melted over with fried shrimp around it, okay? And I have this drizzle that I created that I'll be eventually bottling and putting that shit in the stores. But the drizzle is something that I created, and everybody loves the drizzles. Then I came up with this crab melt. Now, true story, the first day I did the opening, that Saturday, my first customer ordered a crab melt, and I looked, I made it, and I looked at it, I said, let me grab this drizzle. Put the drizzle on there, you know, burnt that thing there and gave it to him. And the crab melts right now flying off the goddamn truck. Crab balls, I created some crab balls.
Pause. But go ahead.
Last week I did a crab.
So man, what is it? What you have available for shipping though? Like you had the soup, like you could ship the soup out. Are you doing any of that anymore?
No, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all how y'all motherfuckers at home get on my goddamn nerves, right? All my,
I've been texting everything. Can I get some soup?
So no, I'm gonna tell you why you can't get no goddamn soup. Everybody got online, and I'm including all you motherfuckers that be asking me about the soup, and y'all asked in order, right? So that one year, a couple of years ago, everybody was worrying this shit out of me. How could you have that in Atlanta? You didn't bring it home, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, you need it. Okay. So what I did that Christmas, I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I sent people emails. I said, listen, I'm only making 100 units. I'm going to fly them home, you know, place your order. Everybody that bought the damn soup wasn't the people that was worrying the shit out of me.
That's how it works. That's just how it works.
Hey, Anthony, hold on. Al is our food connoisseur, so I need some help on this. Al, what is a drizzle?
It's a special sauce.
It's a special sauce. Okay, all right. I didn't know what
It's a special sauce, though.
I didn't know what no drizzle was.
Because I do the food porn.
All the seafood. Yeah, all the seafood folks got the special sauce. They got the special sauce. They put on
Al is our food connoisseur and stuff, man. So
I knew what you was talking about. I was just listening like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm about to steal that.
I ain't tell you what the ingredients was now.
Yeah, I know. But I never put a drizzle on anything. That's why I was just like, okay.
Hey, as soon as I taste it, I steal it.
All right. So it's some Wildcats podcast. Man, you got the food truck going. You're gonna need some investors for the DC Wendell's seafood food truck out here. Some Wildcats. Well, you know, we got the wallet here, Dirk. So we may invest and bring that food truck right out here to DC.
Did you see how he said we gonna invest with Dirk's money?
He always does that. He actually said we.
I was hit that we, huh?
Craig always hit me with ideas. He always got some ideas for me, man.
I think Craig was right. He always saying we, but they always turn around.
The ideas of no money.
always, Anthony.
I do got money. Dirk's money. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all money. His place. I get it. Yeah,
I just heard that.
Money in his house. That's all that is.
Gotta go to the wallet, man. All right, so right now, tell them how can they get in contact with you.
Well, Wendell Seafood, Wendell's with an I, WINDELLS Seafood, at Wendell Seafood. My Instagram, Twitter, my Facebook page, everything. Right now, I mean, the goal is to actually get into a position where I can get it in stores and get it shipped and everything like that. You know, I'm a little bit of ways away from that, but you know, right now I'm moving in that direction. Like I said, the crazy part about it, people don't know, I didn't even want a food truck. I mean, it just happened to kind of fall into my lap like it did. And thank God it did, because, you know, this pandemic hit, it's a lot of guys like me that are out of work. I mean, you know, even if we do come back and do sports, it would never, you know, financially, I would never see it like I have these last 10, 15 years, because it's going to take a minute for everybody to get comfortable. And then think about this too. If they get the plan and one person gets sick, they're going to shut the team down.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so right now for me to have a food truck, and God pushed me in that direction. I've actually had the truck since December, and I bought it right there in Manassas, Virginia. Nobody knows that though. You know.
Let me ask you, Anthony. Is it a mumbo sauce joint? Is it a mumbo sauce in Atlanta?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is a mumbo sauce.
Is that the drizzle? Is that the drizzle or the drizzle?
That's the drizzle.
Oh, not no mumbo sauce on seafood.
Go get you some ketchup.
Asking, no, Anthony, I'm asking you because, like, in Safeway and Shoppers up here or Giant, whatever, they have mumbo sauce in stores. In Atlanta, okay, I'll get you now. Never mind. Never mind. I got you.
Ketchup and relish mixed together.
Al trying to say you got people in Atlanta food, but people down there from DC, like they taste and they like, man, that ain't never mumbo sauce.
Mumbo sauce.
I tell you what it is.
Hey, but think about it. Whoever they making a killing selling mumbo sauce up there, because everybody down here be ordering that shit from DC. Oh man, get that mumbo sauce.
Man, we got 2 bottles upstairs in the refrigerator.
Really?
I got a boy in LA. He asks me all the time, man, we can get some mumbo sauce. Ship that shit to me.
My kids love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ant, man, we appreciate you taking some time and being interviewing with us today, talking with us, man. Is there any last things you want to say? Anybody else got another question or anything?
I got another question. I got one more question. And you should have never got pulled out the game in the championship, or we will be champions right now.
Oh man, fucking Marvin threw that goddamn interception trying to throw that shit to Bam, and all of us we start laying out on the field crying and shit. Yeah, hey, matter of fact, we played at St. John's up in Anthony Calvin's Jr.'s. Didn't he play at St. John's? Yeah. We played them on that damn field and shit, and they threw our trophies out there when they threw our trophies on the 20-yard line in a box and shit.
Don't talk about my favorite quarterback, man.
I'm still
Marcus Graves.
Marvin.
Oh, that was my
Marvin. I'm sorry.
That's my quarterback.
Syracuse.
quarterback, man.
Yeah, that's my quarterback too.
But nah, man, I just want to say thank y'all for having me, man. I'm still a fucking wildcat, even though I didn't get my degree.
Nah, man, you a wild. You a wild.
Yeah, you like a wild night.
Okay, well, I'll take the wild.
Yeah, you a wild night.
Man, I appreciate it. Shit. You know, I get on anytime. I ain't got no goddamn job, so. Have y'all got Dodd on yet? No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Look, Hallie been on, but Dodd ain't been on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hallie been on. Hallie been on.
Hallie ain't been on since we was on Zoom, but when we was in the studio, Hallie came.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nah, I like what y'all doing, man. It's cool to I try to keep up with everybody from Northwestern, man, you know. So thank you.
All right, so it's a Wildcats podcast. You can check us out on your favorite podcast app. We're all over the net. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page at Some Wildcats. We appreciate y'all checking out the show. Shout out to the Burton Craig Shields Foundation Community Cuts for Kids. We will be back for 20 years next year. We are officially canceled in St. Louis, but you know, it is what it is right now. This COVID-19 is real. As my man scrambles to grab some trophies, I believe he's going to throw an Emmy in front of y'all. Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Heavy.
There you go.
It was coming.
There you go.
Yeah, that Emmy looks kind of heavy.
You knew it was coming. Oh, another. I don't know. Look at this dude. Award-winning.
Hey, do that, my brother.
My bad.
Hey man, you got flex on him.
Rings. Look at this dude.
Yeah, ring,
flex
ring,
on it.
ring.
Come on, Ring.
I'm sorry, man. Oh, we still there? My bad.
So one time, y'all give it up for this fool.
Minutes.
He got more? The Bama gonna
They
get
ain't
more?
finished.
They go
They
again.
got like, no, they got like.
I'm sorry.
Award-winning Anthony White.
Did Anthony bring out that trophy from 7th grade at St. John's he was just telling us about?
Second place
Got it
trophy.
back there.
Hey, hold on, why you bullshit?
Here we go.
Second place trophy.
Look out!
Oh, shit.
Look at that shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Look.
That joke got the Heisman stiff arms up.
Yeah. Hey, we would have had the big one if Al didn't get burnt on the goddamn shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm
That's
still
good
trying to
shit.
do that, man.
Oh, man.
Hey, y'all give it up one time for Anthony White, y'all. Y'all give it up.
Thanks for coming,
All right.
man. Thanks for coming.
Love you, brother. Love you, brother.
All right, that's for Malik, so we can chop that shit up. We can keep going, man.
HBCU.
Wait a minute. No FIU.
We didn't do an FIUU.
You didn't do the FIU.
Because we went so long, so that's why I let it go. I let it go.
We pay extra anyway, man. We got to pay for it anyway, so what's
The fuck?
really in there?
Really?
Okay,
You know,
Anthony,
broke the tradition.
let's get to the best part of the goddamn show right here. Is what
That's
you
right,
come
that's
here
right.
for.
Damn,
Just
bro.
did it.
FIU
Pay for it.
candidate of the week.
You are, nigga.
You this week for forgetting it.
Shit, I ain't forget shit. All right, so this week's candidate, Anthony, if you don't know what it is, let me break it down for you, sir. We give award to somebody that fucks something up during the week. The FIUU is Fuck It Up University, okay?
Get a scholarship, Craig.
We give them a scholarship, a full ride to the university just for being an asshole and fucking up shit in the prior week. And this week, I believe we're gonna go to those ladies and gentlemen, the imposters, those actors that were part of the Black Lives Movement, but they were acting as Black Panthers, but they really weren't Black Panthers. They were actors, and they were man, man, and they were not down with the cause. They were just out there posing. I mean, come on now.
Oh, my bad.
My bad. Guns and everything.
She always default.
Another actor.
Man, another actor, another asshole. Well, she can be part of that crew. But yeah, the Black Lives Movement, Black Panthers that were found to be actors, they are on a full scholarship to the theater department of FIU. You fuck it up. University. Shit. Y'all give it up one time for them assholes. One time.
Wow.
FIU candidates of the week. Black Panther actors, man. Come on. Man.
That's all sad, man, because we're in such a time right now that everything should be looked upon as, you know, this is a serious matter, man. I mean, like I say, think about this. We in some shit right now with the whole George Floyd thing, and then 2 goddamn cops, you know, murder a guy like night before last. Like, this shit is not, you know, and then think about all the countless other, you know, things that are going on. So you would think that consciously they would be in a mindset like, okay, everybody like just chill. I mean, and like I said, don't get me wrong. I know police officer jobs are hard. I mean, a lot of my friends are police officers, you know, and I know my cousin, she's a DC police officer. And I know, you know, it's at any split second, you know, it can go the other way. But for them to have actors out there faking the funk like that, man, you know, that kind of takes away from what the message is and what's going on. Because to think about it, that other race look at us like, oh, well, they out there, you know, faking anyway, and they making it. If they ain't serious about it, why should we be serious about it? One of my boys made a good post last night. He's a popular DJ here. And I said, damn, you know, this shit makes sense. He said, and he made a post last night. He said, think about it. He said, think about this. He said, all the black people out here in Atlanta partying and all the white people protesting. And he had a picture of that shit. And I'm going to tell you, the fucking, you know, day parties and shit going on and all that. And I'm like, bro, like, why the hell y'all out here? Because, see, this is what makes people lose the movement. So these white folks out here fighting for shit right now, you know, we supposed to be alongside of them, but then y'all motherfuckers over here in the hookah bar kicking it and getting on bitches and all that type of shit. You know, I had my ass in the house, bro.
It's real. Yeah, it's real. That's the fucked up shit about it. These people, they rather go out and risk their damn lives in some fucking COVID shit and party than risk their lives to fucking protest for social justice to keep motherfuckers
for their
alive
kids and
for a real cause.
grandkids. Man, for the kids and grandkids. That's crazy.
That's real. That's
and
real.
not only that, man, the sad part about it, and you know, one of my friends made a good point. Like, we need these white motherfuckers. Like, we done screamed and hollered and prayed and marched and cried. We done did all we could do for 400 years, right? Now that we got white cats and the other race stepping up, like, okay, well, we hear your cries. We getting into the damn race with you. Like, we got to keep this shit going because that's the only way shit is going to change, bro.
That's true. You got to put your foot on the gas. Got to keep your foot on the gas, man.
Because it's like now, if we got that door open, because now don't get it twisted now. You know, some of the shit that you're starting to see now, a lot of them getting tired of all this protesting and shit like that because, see, now we're infringing on, you know, now they feel like we're getting rights. We're getting rights and, you know, like, think about it. Black people, we don't have nothing. We don't own shit. Like, who getting ahead? Y'all got every goddamn thing. Y'all do. Like, I mean, y'all pissed off and upset with us. We ain't winning. You know,
we just trying to survive. We just trying to survive.
At the same time, I do appreciate those Caucasian brothers and sisters out there doing what they're doing. But at no time, I don't want them to ever think that they're actually doing this as a favor to us or for us. That's what I don't want to get that message screwed up, man. I really don't want that to happen. That's why I think it needs to be a lot more of these young Black African-American faces, Hispanic, Mexican, I don't know, I don't want to call them the wrong thing, whatever, Latino faces out there as well. I want them to be out there beside those Caucasian faces to make sure that they understand that this is a movement we're doing together. You're not making it happen for us, you're making it happen with us, you know. You do have to use your white privilege to take us to another level. That's great. You know, it has to happen to them as well. So we can take it to get past all this bullshit, you know, but it is what it is right now. It is what it is. We still got some very young, ignorant African-Americans out there that it's on us too. We got to help them out.
We saw the prime example of that. Hey, we saw the prime example of that, what I sent y'all earlier today too, Craig.
Which one is that?
That happened 2 days ago.
Go explain it.
The stuff that happened over in Northeast with in the middle of broad daylight. Yeah.
In Trinidad.
Yeah.
You know, in the middle of all this going on.
They over there shooting up Trinidad in daylight.
There's a post going on with a shootout that they caught on somebody's
a gun battle.
On somebody's Ring door camera in the middle of the day. And I mean,
yeah. My man Derek, y'all know Derek Potts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Derek, I saw Derek post that on his
It was like a ring. It was like off a doorbell camera. But this sound like Beirut out that jump.
Yeah. No, and I'm gonna tell you what happened here, which was some crazy shit. Like yesterday, it's some dude riding around in a black pickup truck, and it's a still shot, and he shot into a crowd. I guess I don't know if it was protests of black people, but he ended up killing 2 of the people, and 5 got injured. That happened here yesterday. So it's like it's a still shot of a black pickup truck, and dude in the passenger seat, he's standing above the truck, firing down on people. You know, so I mean, I think that, you know, I think that we are kind of facing a race war in a sense now, because see, a lot of these white motherfuckers, they getting sick of all this protesting and shit. Because think about it, we fucking up their zen right now. You know what I mean? Think about the shit with NASCAR. All the motherfuckers showed up in Alabama with them damn trying to get rid of the Confederate flag, but all them showed up there Confederate flags because it's our right, you know, to oppress people. You know what I mean? That type of bullshit. You know? So,
hey, to go back to Keith's point, Keith made that point about those young dudes in Trinidad shooting up the block in broad daylight. When I saw it, I'm like, wow, we we're protesting when a white cop kills a black man, but we sit back and we let the black on black go just happen. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't want to hear that shit, but that shit has to stop too, man. That's on us. That's on us. It's so sometimes, you know, we saying, oh, it's cool for us to kill us. I mean, come on now. That shit's fucking crazy.
My thing is, what I don't understand about that is, it's like y'all are brave enough. Because, like, think about it was 60 deaths in Chicago in one day, a couple of days ago.
I saw that too.
How crazy is that?
I saw that.
Why can't y'all be gangster enough to go down to fucking, I ain't condoning this, but go down to all when they down here killing them up, Amar Harvard off, old boy in Brunswick, they killing off them. Like, y'all don't stand up for shit like that, but y'all will go kill your own. Like, you know, that to me, that's the stupidest shit right there.
See, I'm with you, Anthony, on that. But the only problem I have with that is like we hear the stats on that situation, but the stats is coming from the cops.
Oh yeah.
And we saw from my man George Floyd death until now that the cops will tell multiple lies. So how do we know that it is really black on black crime, or is it just some white folks riding around in that neighborhood shooting up? How do we know? Because we're getting our stats from the cops.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, because like think about it, you know that what happened with the killing of Brooks the other night. So the cops put on their gloves and start picking up the shells.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but my thing is, y'all, it's a line of goddamn cars out there with all these people. Well, y'all, so naturally, you got to think, like, they got footage that they haven't even showed because there's so many people standing out there rolling with their cameras. Like, it was a line of cars out there. So for you all to you know, do a heinous act like that, like kill this man, run away, what makes you think that people are not going to, you know, have this footage? But that's the arrogance of that shit with them and feeling like they're untouchable, you know, and that badge protects them. I'm not saying all cops are not bad. But you need to get rid of them motherfuckers like that, you know, that are, you know, are causing the problems. Like, and they talk about the whole defunding and everything. My thing is, and you guys can relate to this, whatever happened to the police boys and girls clubs? You know what I mean? Like, you talk about defunding the police department, like, take that money, put it into like neighborhoods and open up some of these YMCAs. So you remember,
you know what? That to me was a marketing snafu, shorty. That you shouldn't have called it defund. Call that shit rearrange, put it somewhere else, reorg. Don't call it defund, because people gonna take that the wrong way.
And that's what has happened.
Say that you redirecting the money or you doing a reorg or whatever you want to call it, but you say defund, boo, you on mute. I ain't hear nothing you saying, home.
But see, the only thing with that defund is that I think they have exhausted all the other ways of saying how to have the cops do the right thing and to train and to be, I guess I should say, how to deflate or to, I guess, with a situation is try to calm the situation down. So I think what now they're doing is being more aggressive with it, saying it's a defund thing.
Right, but I'm saying it's a million words in the dictionary. We don't have to use defund. That's what's causing the confusion.
Yeah, defunding is misleading what they're trying to say, what they're trying to do.
They want to restructure the police department. They want to restructure the police department.
Redirect. But when you say defund, that means you're taking the money from like we about to have a purge or something out this joint, and that's not the case.
And another thing, the people who make the argument for defunding, when you hear their argument, they underline the problem and they say we want to defund, but a lot of times they say it's the unions, it's the protection that the cops have. That's what they say. That right there is what the issue is, and they say we're going to defund because of that. How about address the issue? You are highlighting the issues. Why don't you address the issues and say, hey, we're going to take away money? Which again, defunding is misleading.
Hey, I'm gonna shout out Olivia Fox real quick. I'm sorry, they don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna shout out Olivia Fox real quick. She put a post up about defunding. I think I sent this to you, Keith. She said, let it be clear. So as to what defunding police means, okay, before Trump tries to recreate the narrative. Defunding the police means reallocating funds to where we, the communities, need it most. And
Okay,
it's a stat she got underneath. Let me hit the
I
stat
got
for
you.
1.7 million students are in schools with cops, but no counselors. 3 million students are in schools with cops, but no nurses. 6 million students are in schools with cops, but no school psychologists. 10 million students are in schools with cops, but no social workers.
Mhm.
So that's what she wants. I mean, not she, but that's what they want when they say.
No,
but what you said, though, right?
I don't disagree.
You missed Keith's argument.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just saying when you say defund, that first
I didn't
word
miss
that
his
she had in
argument.
there.
I was just trying to make this.
Then why you read the statement then?
Clear.
Yeah, the first word there
regardless if you
is
use
reallocate. That's
Damn,
what you call it.
Oh,
the thing is,
I was
though,
just trying to
regardless,
explain to what they were trying to get to.
We know what it means. We are all educated.
Still
Right now.
Everybody.
Still his ass, Glenn.
You're not
regardless
you're
of
not the only
using the
person listening right now.
Still his ass, Glenn.
Look, regardless of using the word
That nigga didn't have no
defund.
Stella tonight. He had no Stella tonight. That's what it is.
No,
He
I
had
got my Stella,
tonight.
motherfucker. I got my
I'm
Stella.
talking about that motherfucker over there with the willow feet.
God damn.
Hey, but nah, I mean that's all I'm saying is that like if you set in any collective bargaining agreements, they're gonna take that littlest word, they're gonna take that word and they're gonna run with that word and they're gonna make everything about that word. So all I was saying was just even if I agree with everything that she's saying and those were all valid points, just say it's a reallocation. Don't say it's defund because they're gonna take that and twist it.
But how does the reallocation help the actual problem that how does that help? Like
She just
It
said
does.
to put it to
It
where
does.
to put it towards social workers, the
Well,
mental
let me
health
say
folks.
this.
how does that help the police brutality?
Hold,
It
but no,
doesn't.
hold on.
Because they said, because hold on, because they were saying. Go ahead.
And hold on, let me be clear. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be funds should be reallocated. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'm just saying, like, how is that the option? Like, why is that even put? It's like saying, oh, because y'all being because you're being overly aggressive or because of police brutality, we're gonna take money from you.
I mean, hey Dave, I can tell you how.
But what's the point?
I'm gonna tell you why. So, like they say, like right now, we call the cops for everything, and a lot of times cops shouldn't be in some of these circumstances. So they're saying that if we do reallocations, defund certain departments, and boost up other departments, they'll be handling some situations like domestic stuff. You have counselors there. You have like they say how like 20% of the rest are for like homeless people. You have social workers that be able to put there, and so if you have businesses or structured government programs to help those different circumstances, and then the cops just handle on the traffic stops and the robberies and stuff. So that's what's
Glenn, I agree with that. That still doesn't. That's still I agree with you 100%. Right? It what it does is all that's doing is taking the cop out the equation.
Right.
That's not helping the problem within the police force. There's a problem within the police force.
Let me say this. One thing that we do know is that a lot of police officers are underpaid. Okay? Now let's start from that point. So think about this. Like, a lot of times, some police officers, granted, some people want to grow up and be police officers. Some people take the job for security. Okay, so I think that in times, if you found, if the police officer, if they were paying the police officers a lot more money, you would probably get a different caliber.
Time out. Let's step back. So you said they killing us because they don't make enough fucking money?
Oh no.
No. So, but no. One of the things, there's one.
Hear me out. Because sometimes we get, because think about it, how they get back into the point of like training and who the person is, and they start finding out their background and stuff like that. I think that a lot of times, if it was a situation where if you were hiring a certain type of police officer, I mean, and I'll just say from a standpoint of pay, you know what I mean, you might get a caliber or a different type of a caliber of person. You know what? And I think that. But I think that at times you get some of these cats out here, think about it, they probably were bullied in school, okay? They probably were, now they're the big badass for the simple fact that they got a badge and a gun. I mean, you don't know what a lot of these cats' backgrounds are.
No. I get you, Anthony. And again, I'm also like everybody else who I've stolen or saw a post that was very interesting. they were saying for a barber, you have to be licensed. To be child care, in most cases, you have to be licensed. And they said that, like, they kind of gave this crazy stat that police officers, you don't have to be licensed, or you don't have to go through any type of recertification, like to be a barber or to be like these other industries or these other professions. You got to go through some type of recertification that includes some type of psychiatric exam and stuff. And I think that's one way. You know, I'm not sure if paying them more money is going to be, you know, it's because I think if people get out of the profession, we may have to incentivize them with more money. But you can't. I think part of the problem is, like you said, they just let anybody on.
Right.
So you could be a bad cop in one jurisdiction and go and get fired or get reprimanded and go to another fucking jurisdiction.
Right.
And they were saying that they're having some type of national database where you have to go through some type of national certification to be identified and labeled as a good fucking cop.
Yeah, because that's how the nursing system is set up.
Right.
It's just like that. So if you engineer a needle that's in a bad situation and you kill somebody, that's on your jacket. And see, and that's what I don't understand. I'm with Anthony with that, like Anthony Cowan with that, because that's what I don't figure out. Like, how the cops don't have that type of jacket. Like, if you kill somebody, why is that not on your jacket?
On your record.
But
yeah.
it goes back to my first statement too. The union, they protected by the union.
Glenn.
So we need to
Exactly,
change that structure right there. That's the problem. They're protection. You take away their protection and they 100% accountability, then guess what? They're gonna do because they know they gotta be accountable. Right now they got protection. So they're like, you know what? Again, like you say, when he had his knee on his back, you look what he looked like. He like, you know what, I ain't gonna be able to do nothing about this. I'm protected.
Yeah.
And that's what, but that's why they moved the way they moved, because they know that shield from the union protects them, and that's where a lot of the, you know, the people that's been speaking out about them, they were saying that that's going to be the hardest part for the whole defendant, because the union is going to always protect them guys, even when they know that they're guilty and wrong.
And well, that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying about Minneapolis. That's what they were saying about Minneapolis. The new police chief that was there, he was saying he cut off negotiations with the union. Because it's just like, you know, because I think they're in the contract year, and he was just like, it's got to be some changes.
And they're gonna take whatever little verbiage they can find, and they're gonna take whatever sticking point that they want to go with, and they're gonna run with it. And that's what they're going. That's their whole thing or negotiation is going to be based off of certain words. So when you take that something like defund, they're going to take that. And that's going to be their whole argument about everything that they want going forward. And
that Trump shit. That's that Trump bullshit.
No, I mean it's union
that's
shit.
Life, that's everything. That's not just Trump. That's
I've seen it work both ways, but that's what they're going to take, and that's what they're going to run with. But when it comes to the police, when it comes to the police, the thing that I think we're leaving out of it, even with the training, is the human element. Yeah. So with the human element, if you just got a scary motherfucker that's there, when he get in those type of situations, he can't become something that he's not. If he was a scary motherfucker beforehand, when he get in those situations, he's still going to be that same scary motherfucker. And that's how people are ended up getting killed now.
I think that's what Anthony was talking about, the psychological background check or get certified somewhere. That's what I think Anthony was bringing up. They have to have something that they got to be licensed or some type of shit to get past that scary, so we can find out that's a scary motherfucker before they get that scary motherfucker a gun, before he get in that situation.
There are some police state. There are some states where you do have to be like you go through a psychological profile. It's just not every state, every county, every city that have the same thing. That's all. It's just some have. They just need to make it across the board.
Yeah.
And and to touch on what Anthony White was saying about the salary, Anthony, you were saying that you didn't understand where he was going with that. Is if I could try to piggyback a little bit, it's almost like you have more to lose, right? If I'm making $20,000 a year at a job, all right, I can find me another job making $20,000. But if you pay me more, then I'm more likely to stick to my training because I don't want to jeopardize what I had. So, and then also with that, I think within some of the reform, like everybody's talking about the money, taking money. I don't see. I haven't heard an argument on how this. I haven't heard someone make an argument to make me understand how taking the money will change the police officer.
Make it worse.
So my last point is, I feel like what needs to happen is the best example I heard was, or the best idea I heard was, you need to give them something to lose. You may not. That everybody
they can't get hired again.
Everybody wants them to be tried, but take away being tried. They need to be able to lose something other than losing their job. How about you offer them something like their kids go to school for free, something like that. So the best point I heard was, do you care more about being a racist than you do to your kids? Like, you're willing to lose. Your kids go to school for free, so you're willing to lose a free education for your kids because you want to do some harm to a black person. So I feel like that's one of the ideas that I heard. Like, you kind of offer them some things that they don't want to lose. That'll make them kind of change.
But are they offering us free education for our kids? We still have to pay for our kids. You talking about the population, normal population. They talk about giving incentive to a police officer. That's part of their job. A lot of police officers have that side job where they making more money than their current job because they are a police officer. So that's part of, you got to look at, that's the whole package for a police officer. Their part-time job. That's what they really bank off.
But then also teachers.
I'm only talking about the guys who are in it for the wrong reasons. That's what I'm talking about.
I think this, first of all, is they do have programs for not just police officers, for teachers and stuff. Like, you get a certain discount, a certain amount of your clothes, like when you're trying to get your housing and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think that incentivizing these police officers monetarily is a solution to this problem. Because if you a bad apple, and I can't, they throwing out this term loosely, but if you a bad apple, you're just gonna be a bad apple with more fucking money and more fucking benefits.
Yeah, true.
You gotta get rid of some of these.
Are you gonna be a bad apple with? Are you gonna continue to be a bad apple, knowing that I'm gonna lose this job that I started off? I don't know what cops make, but I started off making $75 a year, right? My base pay. I'm making great money as a police officer. Are you going to continue to be a bad apple? Because if you lose that job, you can't go make that $75,000 somewhere else.
But I mean, that goes back. It goes back to what they were saying about
you can't just jump into another profession to make that type of money.
Because this is what's going to happen. If, say, like Anthony was talking about that Dallas or what's the county that you said was surrounding Atlanta that don't want no black folks there.
Oh, like Forsyth County.
Okay, so let's take Forsyth County, and you got Atlanta Metropolitan Police offering $100,000, and you got somebody from Forsyth County that all they know is the white folks that's there in their little county. I'm gonna come to Atlanta and get this $100K, and I'm gonna be policing these folks that I don't care for, that I don't like, but I'm coming down here to get that money. And so now you're gonna run into more situations like this when it's coming to, Atlanta's giving them more salary because they want to bring on more officers, and this is a bigger opportunity, a bigger metropolitan area. And now you got more of these people that's coming down there that don't care for us, and you're policing our area.
Okay, Keith, I got you. And then let me answer to that. So, I'm sorry, did you say 100,000? So yeah. I can go to Atlanta.
That's just an example. I don't know.
No, it's a good example though. It's a great example because I'm going to go to Atlanta to make that 100,000, right? But I know if I do something that I shouldn't do, right? I don't like these people I'm policing, but I know if I do something to these people I'm policing, I could potentially lose this 100,000, and now I got to go back to Dallas, Georgia, and make 35,000. So
but you know what, Dave?
It's going to change. It might not change your heart, but it's going to change your mindset.
Decision making.
I don't know, man. I don't know because let me ask you. So you're saying, Dave, that Rashad Brooks potentially would not have gotten shot and killed 3 nights ago if that officer that shot him was making more money.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Did he shoot him? Did he shoot him because he doesn't like him as a black man, or did he shoot him because he had poor training or didn't follow his training?
It could be a combination of both.
He shot because he was scared. He could have shot because he was scared.
You could put anything into the scenario.
He shot him because he saw the window of opportunity when he hit them with the taser joint. He said, "That's my opportunity."
But what I'm gonna say to you, Dave, is
you was whooping their asses, and they that's what that was.
And he got away.
first person on this podcast to ever get a unanimous head shake from everybody.
So what?
Let me say no. Let me
You got a unanimous head shake from everybody. Every square of this jump was like this.
And this is what I want to talk about.
Hold on. But I also didn't get. I got a unanimous non-answer to taking money from the police. How does that change police brutality? You guys said.
But I think Keith said that defunding is not the right term.
I never said to take money away from it. I said to reallocate it.
That's what's happening. That's what it means.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's
That's the same thing.
But that's the same thing that Craig was basically saying, that it's the same thing. It's defunding,
I'm not talking defund.
retaliate.
Forget the word defund.
Now we
Hey, Craig, hold, real quick. Something administrative. Hey, Craig, I'm gonna stop the record because this joint is the file is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
So do you want me to keep recording? Or?
He's not
gonna be able to send it. He's not gonna be able to send it.
Oh, go ahead and stop the recording. We're gonna keep it going on Facebook Live. We can keep it on Facebook Live, though.
Okay, all right, and stop recording.